What's happening, party people? Please hold the applause. Hold the applause. Always good to be back with you all. Welcome to my Unleashed Wednesday night hang. If you don't know what this is, I'll tell you all about it. Been doing it for about, 10 months now or more. And I just turn on the camera and talk about whatever. And it's an AMA, so if you have questions for me, throw them in the live chat and I'll read them. It could be about whatever you want. It could be about my career with Stephen Pearcy, which, geez, I'm a month away from completing 25 entire years with him in the solo band and making solo records and having all kinds of fun adventures. And it really made life worth living in a lot of ways, even the low points and high points. And we're about to have a high point because, as many of you know, the Dogg Mob album is soon to be released, and goddamn, it's good. It's going to really surprise people, and we're super excited about it. If I'm not mistaken, Steven signed with Virgin Records for this release, so it's going to be out very soon in the next 2 months, I'd say. So I thought it was going to be next year, but it's going to be sooner than later. Just signed on with TKO for booking shows, so anyone in what do you call it, earshot of my voice that wants to book the current Stephen Pearcy lineup, which Blas Elias, Stephen Pearcy, of course, Matt Thorne, the newest addition, Joel Hoekstra, and goddamn, he's a beast on guitar. And then you got me, the guy who's been there the whole time, been referred to as the glue in some people's depictions of me, I guess. But anywho, lots of other cool stuff going on. Who was at the Fright Bite last night? That was pretty cray cray. I feel like I'm finally figuring out how to get to more people to come to this thing. Part of it's really the thumbnail in a lot of ways. I've relented that it's hard to compete with AI, especially when all the major podcasters out there use it. I understand because it takes time to, like, if Dolly and I had to like do a full photo shoot with the car and do all this, it would be a lot of time and work and planning and BS. And man, last time I did it, I made steaks and they came out terrible, and I'm still hearing about it. So I think we have like enough stuff after 33 episodes that we've done where I can kind of give the AI enough to work with to kind of help use it in a creative way. I mean, not in the way that I see a lot of podcasters doing, which everybody just does, make me a cartoon, and everything starts to look the same. Like, I want to be a little more specific with it. There was another photo that I wanted to pull up. Oh yeah, it's this one. Let me see here. Hold on. Because she does a news bit on the Fright Bite, Dahlia Dark, that is, and her character Siobhan O'Rain did a news broadcast. She didn't tell me what it was going to be about, but when she sent me the raw footage, it had something to the effect of that the Count was stuck in traffic and his car broke down, and I'm like, okay, and it's day of show, you know what I mean? It's like, how am I gonna like get to a car? I actually have a buddy, believe it or not, that has a Pontiac TA like that. It has a Trans Am just like that one. And I have his name's Scott. My friend Emmy's just blowing me up right now for some reason. Anyways, my friend Scott in Huntington Beach has one of those freaking cars. It's amazing. I'm jealous that he has it, and I love it. And he's been showing it's his prized possession, if you will. It's like when he got that was his reward to himself after getting middle age of working hard your whole life. He bought himself his dream car, which was, I think it's a 77 or 78 Pontiac Trans Am. So I had been talking to him just this week about actually filming some bits with the car. And that would be amazing. But as far as yesterday, like how how would I have been able to do that, you know? And it's just kind of dope that we're in that phase of technology where it's like a couple of prompts. Of course, throwing in a real picture of myself as the count helps to guide it in the right way where it's useful, where it's not spitting out some stupid cartoon, but it looks believable enough. Although with AI, you could see how jacked up my arm is on there. Like it has trouble getting arms and fingers right. But I'll do a little more about Fright Bite, and I want to talk about, of course, the new tour vlog. But I gotta get in the chat room and say hi to all the Unleashed crew. We got Dale Groot in the house. You wanted the best, you got the best. The hottest channel on YouTube, Unleashed. I was trying to do my Gene Simmons there for you. Thanks, Dale. Yeah, I think this is silly, me just turning on a camera and not having much planned, but you guys seem to enjoy it, so I'll keep doing it. I mean, I feel like the Fright Bite's the most awesome podcast that ever existed. If I could just get everybody else to understand that, which I will. I'm not giving up on it yet. As I said, it's just like making some tweaks to make it more palatable to the general audience and just kind of pick up on what works and what doesn't. You can't expect, it's just like when you start a new band, you got to like get your image together, you got to write some songs, you got to get some shows under your belt. You can't expect to go, "Hey, let's start a band called the Stallions," or whatever, and have a platinum band next week. Even if you used AI, that's not going to happen. It takes time, and you have to build an audience organically, and it's just something you can't rush, and you can't get bummed out about it. And using the band, what's the word I'm looking for? Analogy, the band analogy for that. Bands, I would say, take at least 3 to 5 years, unless they're already superstars. And if they're already superstars, then they can negotiate big deals immediately just based on um, their fans that they have from their main bands and what have you. But for the rest of us that are completely unknown, it's going to take some time to hone your craft and your skill. Same thing goes for the Fright Bite, but I wanted to take a second. I'm tying this around to thanking you guys that do go to that, because there's a good, I don't know, 20 or 30 you guys that are always at the Fright Bite and participate in it and have jokes and throw in super chats so you could spin the wheel of misfortune, which I'm going to have to change back to Wheel of Fortune because so many people have been winning on it lately. But it's fun to send out mystery prizes to you guys, and I know you get excited to see what comes to you in the mail. So we're going to keep doing all that. Got Dots at 200SX. Good afternoon. Well, good afternoon, sir. Welcome back to the Wednesday Night Unleashed. He's looking for Jay Krager. He's right underneath you, buddy. I'm here, Dotson, ready for duty. How you doing? And how you doing, Eric, man? It's been a good day today. Well, I'm happy to hear that. Mr. Krager, you got a good outlook on life. I'll tell you, my friend. One of the secrets to life is just accepting the fact that happiness is a choice. You could choose to be a glass is half empty, or you could be someone that chooses that the glass is half full. Ah, yes. Moving on. You had a good day. That's great, Jay Krager. I hope all week goes just as well for you. Well, all this positivity that we got here tonight. I love it. I love it. Dots at 200SX. Eric, did you fix dinner tonight? No, I'm on a dinner strike. Yeah, that's right. As of like 2 weeks ago, I'm on total strike. I'm not doing anything for anybody. That's it. It's like as soon as you feel that your efforts are overlooked or underappreciated, it's time to pull back and let them see what life is like without you. And that's where I'm at. No, I'm not worrying about dinner. I had plenty of time to prepare for the show. One mess up that I did was I was sitting getting all these clips ready for the show tonight and realized I was in the Fright Bite StreamYard, and then it was showtime, and I couldn't start the show, and luckily I stayed calm, and I figured out that I got to go over to the Unleashed, and I was late because I had to reload everything in there. Um, Look who we got. We got Spicoli in the house tonight, y'all, and he's throwing in a super chat for the weed fund,
Hey,
son.
bud. Let's party. I know that, dude.
I promise I allocate all donations to the specific place you tell them to go. If it's the weed fund, son, it's going to the weed fund. If you say it's going to the kitty food fund, it goes to the kitty food fund. If you're saying it just goes to the channel to support it, well, then it'll go to paying all the bills that go along with this channel. But I'm just, I don't know, happy that you guys keep cruising back to hang and be part of the show. That's the biggest thing with this, that you guys are a part of this. I want to read everybody's comments and acknowledge each and every one of you, and of course continue to show my appreciation to you all. Take suggestions, field questions, you know, really peel back the layers of truth. You know what I'm talking about. Whew. Do I need to give more Spicoli jobs for Spicoli? I mean, he did give a real big.
I know that, dude.
What are you people?
Super chat.
On dope?
Man. You didn't ask for a Roth Scream, Spicoli? I'm going to give you one anyways. All right, let's get back in here and see what we got going on with you guys. Oh, Johnny Ponder sent me a friend request today. Hope you have a great show tonight. I met Matt and Carlos Friday at the Pearcy meet and greet. Very cool. Matt was cool, and Carlos is a really nice guy. Yeah, Carlos is a super nice guy. I have, chilled at like events with Carlos anyway, and he's showed up and jammed with the solo band on a couple of occasions. And yeah, Pearcy DiMartini played in Orlando, the other night, and but from what I'm hearing, it was a cool show. I'm glad you got to meet those guys. Matt's generally an even-keeled, cool dude. I've never heard a story about Matt being mean to somebody. I don't think that's in his repertoire or anything. Same with Carlos. Me, I don't know. You could catch me in a bad moment, or if I'm in a hurry or something, or in a bad mood. I'm not perfect all the time, but most of the time I'd say I'm pretty approachable at shows. Stoney Jackson, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Fired up and go. Oh yeah, we're all fired up. Oh my goodness, look at this. Let me get my my pretty princess going here. Got Monica back. Hey Eric, ready for the show tonight?
Pretty princess.
I like it. Gaining a little bit of a female audience all of a sudden. That means you're doing it right. We got Nicole Camo. Hi, Eric. Just finished watching last night's Fright Bite. That was great. Unleashed is great as well as the road vlogs. Just trying to keep up with you. Thanks for all the good times and laughter. Oh, thank you so much, Nicole. I'm super happy. Nicole's like someone that just kind of discovered the channel in the last month, and she's been showing up to these shows. It's I guess been convenient. I've changed the day. I used to do this on Fridays when it was I don't know, in the winter last year, and I was off the road, and I was like, not sad at home on a Friday night, and so I was doing that. But in the summer, it changes. You know, people seem to go out more and do things, and the sun's out longer. And I went, you know what? Let's go do like the midweek 1-2 punch. You know, give them a Fright Bite on Tuesday, and then do like a Wednesday hangout. And hopefully I'm back on the road a lot so I could throw a road video out once a week. You know, I'm hoping that now that TKO's booking for the band, we can get some a run of shows here this year, and I'll continue to put out the vlogs for them. The next one that we got is very cool. It is the Rainbow Birthday Bash. And if you haven't heard about it, it's on Sunday, September 6th, and it's a free show. So if you can make it to Hollywood, or you have miles or whatever and you want to fly out, this is a really cool opportunity to see the newest lineup of the Stephen Pearcy band, and Sherry Curry of the Runaways, Flotsam and Jetsam, I Hate God, some other acts too. I think the event starts around 2:30 in the afternoon. I think Pearcy Band hits the stage around 8, so that's kind of cool. It should be the sun should be down by then. I got to be up early. I got sound check for that thing, and I'll be spending the day up in LA, and just excited to play this. We did it once before. I think I did the birthday bash around 2021. It was or yeah, 21 or 22 or something like that. And it was a good time, but it'd be nice to come back now with the current lineup that we have, and I think people are going to go nuts out there at this show. So I'm super excited about it. Speaking of the band, and Nicole was just mentioning, did you guys watch the latest road vlog? That's right, Road to Rhode Island. This is, consecutive with the last one I put out, the last Road to Ridgefield, which did pretty well. That was the night before this, and basically, we just got up the next morning, and we had a van we rented from when we got into Connecticut, and we just drove to Bally's, and it was a cool show out there. Bally's treated us great. I did a little bit of a clickbaity thing with Corey Feldman on this, but our tour manager, David, kind of tour manages Corey. So he's always doing stuff with Corey. And the airport that we were all flying out of at the end of this weekend run, there was a convention being held there, and David was like, "Hey guys, if you I could get you into this, and you can meet Corey and a bunch of other actors that are going to be at this thing." And I thought, yes, this will be great. I'll be able to get some footage for the vlog and all that. It'll be amazing. But the problem was Dave and Steven were leaving much later than I was. So if I had gone with them, even though they were going to just go for a few hours, after we leave this thing, they were going to have to drive me back to the airport. I was have to check my bags, go through security, get to the gate. I had my guitar with me, and in those situations, I really want to make sure I get on the plane first, and I'll fake whatever injury it takes to make that happen. And I just decided it was more important for me to get home than to go to this. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking I'll get another chance to meet Corey through David down the road. But what I didn't realize is like how many cool actors there were there. Like Steven got to meet Corey, of course, but then I don't know if I have a picture of it with me today. Let me see if I do. Steven got to meet like the whole cast of the Lords of the Rings guys, including Sean Astin as well. Oh, I'd see what I'd have to do. I have everything up in the cloud. Oh no, hang on a second. Hang on. I'm not going to let you guys down. Let's see if we could get this going. There you go. Boom. Modern technology at its finest. Look at that. Elijah Wood over there on the far right. So, I mean, it was a little clickbaity, but I was supposed to be there filming it, and at least I had some photos. You know what I'm saying? So, that's kind of cool. I hope I can undo this now. Boom. So on the video, I put appearance by Corey Feldman. That was a little clickbaity, but you do get to see a photo, kind of hear about the weekend, and get some. I stole some of Steven's photos from that to throw in there. I thought that the video was going to do way better from that, honestly, but it was a little overshadowed, sadly, by Dolly Parton's passing. God damn it. She is someone that I thought was going to live to 100, right? I mean, I don't want to make this a polarizing episode with Dolly's choices with her health and everything, but obviously there was a lot of people pointing the finger at a certain big pharma corporation. But it's super sad when you realize, yeah, just what an incredible entertainer she was through all of our lives. I mean, God, I loved her since I was a little boy. My mom and my parents and stuff would know Dolly from, before that. But for me, it was from like watching movies like 9 to 5, or probably one of the weirdest movies from back then, best little whorehouse in Texas. That was there's so many movies that we shouldn't have been watching, like in the late 70s and the 80s, but when like cable first came out, we're dating ourselves here, but for any younger people watching this, there were no such things as like parental controls back then. And in the beginning of the cable box days, it was like the Wild West. I mean, I would be like 7 years old watching Cheech and Chong movies and all this stuff on HBO, and Skinamax had all their stuff. It wasn't long before there was a Playboy channel I think we didn't pay for, but you could still kind of see it. It would be all warbly, and you'd be like, you'd be sitting there trying to see a titty or something. If you waited long enough, it would. If the breast was in place long enough, when the warble would kind of unlock for a second, and you would just get a glimpse. Those were the days. Now it's just a mess. Now it's like nobody even wants to date anymore. Why? They don't even need to leave. Oh my goodness. Spicoli, what are you talking about here? We are live, party people. That's right.
Yeah, I got my beer goggles on now. Let's have us a champagne jam.
It's time for a champagne jam, y'all. Is anybody partying tonight, or is everybody sober? Are you drinking? Are you smoking? What y'all doing? Susie Perry, wow, how old are you? I'm 53. I'll be 54 at the end of November. And yeah, getting up there. Getting up there. Let me see. Spicoli, how much fun is it on the road? Living the rock star life, dude. It's a lot of fun now. I think we do things kind of more comfortably. I don't know. I mean, when I first joined the band, we did have a tour bus and all that, but I don't know. Living on a bus, it's like there's not a lot of privacy, and when times were tighter, it's not like we got a bus and hotel rooms. It was like if you were on a bus, you were living on the bus, and you were taking baths in the sink. I had like a little towel. I would grab a towel and some soap, and I would just, at least like in the water in the sink of the bus, I would kind of do like a towel bath, I guess you would say, and had like baby wipes were important to have, and you would do that just to kind of keep clean. And then sometimes if it was super hot, those would feel good just to hit yourself with some of that. I would have a can of Lysol spray that I would spray my stinky stage clothes with, that seemed to never get dry from the night before. And I don't know, a lot of things I learned in my green days of being a new musician in the band, who, I was just a regional guy up until 2001 was when I joined the Pearcy band. But I'd say now we're at that point where it's mostly flyouts, like that range from doing one of like 5 shows maybe in a row, and it's just kind of flying out there, maybe renting a van, which I have no problem with. I mean, sometimes when you have a bus, it attracts more attention. If you're just in one of those nondescript CIA vans, you know what I mean? Who cares? Nobody's really always thinking we're in it, you know what I mean? And I just want to get to my hotel room where I can have privacy and relax and take care of business, do whatever I gotta do. Change guitar strings, stretch guitar strings, practice whatever parts I gotta play at this thing. I know you think I probably practice all the time for this band. I don't. I mean, after you've been in a band a long time, most of the songs we play I've been playing forever. So at best, I probably just maybe go over, if there's a solo I got to play in a song, maybe I'll make sure I know it. Specifically, if there's like a double solo, because if 2 guitar players have to do like the double round and round solo, or what's another one? I Want a Woman, we have a double solo, me and Joel. You Should Know By Now has a double solo part in it. If you screw up a note, it could totally like train wreck both of you guys. You know what I mean? And I was joking that when he first joined the band, it was almost a little intimidating, because he's kind of a big deal. He's played in Night Ranger, he's played in Whitesnake, he's on Broadway, for crying out loud. Rock of Ages. He does the TSO, which is, that's families all across America have gone to see TSO for Christmas and that, and it's such a huge, pyrotechnic event, arena event that he does it, Bloss does it. Um, and it's cool that at this point in my life I get to share the stage with these like top-notch guys, not to mention, of course, remembering Bloss from the days of Slaughter, Up All Night. I mean, I remember all the girls flipping out over like Sebastian Bach was probably number one guy that they were in love with, but Bloss was probably he had to be a number two. What do you think? Where did he rank of all those guys? I mean, Sebastian and Bloss were probably two of the hottest guys according to the girls my age back then. I don't know if you guys agree with that or disagree. RDT's here, y'all. Hey, EF family. I'm sorry I missed yesterday. Much love to everyone. Well, that's totally fine. If you go to the live button on this channel, you could go back and watch the Fright Bite from last night. And if you enjoyed it, leave a comment under the video and hit the like button, hype it or whatever. That show's so cool. It's just YouTube doesn't push it that much because it's just like my people, as I was growing the channel, didn't really know what it was. I was surprised how many people didn't know that that's me. I mean, wait, what? You're the vampire? I'm like, yeah. So then they kind of understand why it's on this channel. They were thinking it was only going to be rat related or music related. Got Mickey here, everybody. EF, are you familiar with the bar called Custom Culture in Ocean Beach? SD, the bartender mentioned one of the owners being in Asphalt Ballet. Yeah, that's Jay, dude. The Walking with the Dead, right? The song that kicks off the show. Walking with the Dead. I do the Walking with the Dead. I sing the answer back or whatever. But that's Jay who owns the bar you're asking about. It's an awesome. I'm glad you went down and went in there. Yeah, if you guys are ever in San Diego, it's in Pacific Beach, right? It's Ocean Beach. Oh, that's right, Ocean Beach. My apologies. Custom Culture, Ocean Beach. Yeah. Julius Ulrich owns the place, and he was the guitarist and songwriter in Asphalt Ballet. He was the main songwriter in 13A, which was that heavy band that I joined in the late 90s. Todd the singer went on to play in Temple of Brutality with the Megadeth, Little Dave guy, the bass player. What's his name? I'm forgetting. Come on, you guys know. Help me out. But yeah, that's cool, Mickey, that you went down there. He's got an awesome bar, right? I love that place. It was cool. I got to get down there again and at least wheeze some free shots, right? Susie loves Fright Bite. So good to hear it. Yeah. Last night was fun because I was doing somehow, like I said in previous episodes, the show just kind of writes itself. Like sometimes you guys make a comment or whatever, and we end up writing it into the script somehow. But I don't even remember how the Count has started morphing into the Burt Reynolds character, but he's like way into it now, and he's like just wearing like Western shirts and finally busted down and got the hat. I don't know if he's going to have a mustache at some point, but last night, God, it must have been about, I don't know, an hour before the show. I was taking a shower and I should try to do the Jerry Reed song from the movie. And I had to go, first I had to break it down and go, okay, how hard is this song going to be to play? Because like when I've heard it, it's got a bunch of banjos and shit. I don't even own a banjo, and I'm not really, as much as I love the finger picking kind of stuff, that sounds like a banjo part that would require lots of weeks of practice probably to play. It's probably like Ry Cooder or somebody playing on that. I don't know if Jerry Reed played the banjo. I think he just played like regular acoustic. But anyways, the chords, not too much craziness with the chords. I mean, two different progressions, one for the chorus, one for the verse. But obviously it's a comedy show, and so you have to make this a parody. So I had to like put together some lyrics to change to swap out, and so like right before showtime, I was like, I don't know if you can see that, but I was just kind of like writing out some lyrics for this. He was like, "Well, I hail from Transylvania. I'm here to entertain you. I gotta host the best Fright Bite that I could do. I have a friend named Edgar Merman. He's in the ocean of squirming, and he wants a temptation shrimpy shrimp treat from you." That was the verses. But man, that was hard to like get that out of, not only get it out of my mouth, but do it with like the Count's accent, because then it turns into like a dude playing a dude playing a dude. And it's on a live show. It's a little stressful. Luckily, I do take medications. Beta blockers. If you're a nervous person and have to do public stuff, that does keep you a little even keeled. I've heard of people that don't even have heart conditions taking stuff if they have to speak. It just kind of keeps your blood pressure down in those situations. But it's kind of helped with the live show because, man, doing a live show can be really stressful, especially if you have bits you're doing and costumes and you got to get everything like in order. This show tonight's like, I don't even worry about it. Spicoli wants to stop the show, everyone, because he thinks he deserves a rat scream. Do you want some butt bongos? Yeah.
Relax. All right?
Relax, Spicoli. Come on. All right. Let me get back on it with you guys. Got Pat Crawford in the house. This stream is competing head to head with the you know who right now. Go Team Eric. Oh yeah. That's by design, buddy. Michael K, congratulations on 20 years, man. Looking forward to the Dogg Mob album. Yeah, 25 freaking years. 25 years. Although we kind of like, we don't count the COVID years all that much. No, it's like there's definitely a little year period, a couple years there that didn't count. I mean, I can't personally count 2019. 2019, Stephen went out with Juan to do a version of Rat. I was not out for that. It took almost a year for me to get another national gig. And right at the end of 2019, I got the gig playing guitar in Bow Wow Wow, which was a departure from anything I had done. But it was still cool. It kind of got kind of rockabilly Gretsch guitar thing going on. And it was a kind of cool experience. That went on till the shutdowns, and then that lineup ended, and he changed the whole band after when he did finally go back out a couple years later. He did a different lineup, but by 2021, Steven was raring to go and get back out there, and I don't think Juan was ready to go out and do anything, and so Steven fired back up the solo band. So with even though there was a lot of craziness going on in the world, on the planet, and in our country, we were excited to get back out there. And we personally weren't scared by the propaganda and stuff. We were ready to get back out and connect with all you guys and start ratting and rolling. And so from 2021 moving forward, I've been out there with Steven and can of course count that time until last year when this DeMartini lineup started up. And I don't know how many shows they played all together, but that operation, just as is, they have to ask a lot for it. I don't think they were getting as many gigs, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of run its course for now. And I think the shows that they just did were like the last that there's going to be for a while. I'm definitely not saying that forever by any stretch. And Stephen Pearcy will be the first guy to tell you, never say never. He is the one rat guy that'll always be open to getting any surviving original dudes together for a final farewell. Stephen Pearcy is the first guy that would sign up and say yes. It's usually not him that's holding back that sort of thing. That I can assure you. But he's a guy who loves to make albums. He loves to. This is his life, you know, and he's not gonna stop doing it. You know, as I'm not gonna stop either. I'm super excited that he took the initiative to, you know, finance the recording of the Dogg Mob record. Like, he knew we were going to be sitting home for a while. We had the agent change thing happening, and since the DeMartini thing was ending, the AEG that he was with, that ended. So switching agents, you have a downtime, you know. But he made the most he possibly could off that downtime, and he's like, "We're making a record," and shoot, up in the last 6 years since View to a Thrill came out, I've had 40 ideas that I've given to him. And by ideas, I mean songs. I mean, I'll give him like 3+ minute compositions that are all done with like drums, bass, guitar solos on there. And I don't sing on it. I don't put vocals on it because that's his half. That's his half of the workload. You know what I mean? But it's there, and we just have a good chemistry that way. It's weird because like I'll send him my stuff, and what he does is similar to what I'm hearing. I mean, that could be bass because he bases his vocals off some of my guitar parts, so maybe that's why I was like, hey, that's what I was hearing, because it's kind of obvious if you go that route. But the album came out super good, and as I've bragged about many times, no AI was used to, you know, make this. Steven doesn't know how to do that stuff. He wrote 4 of the songs on there, and I wrote 7 of the songs. I play on all 11 of the songs, at least rhythm guitar. I play the solos on probably about 7, I think, of the songs. We had a couple of guest people come in. Doug Aldrich played a pretty rad solo. Austin Ingerman came in and played on one of Steven's songs. Joel played on a song. I'm not. There was one that he played on that was a great song. We didn't get to. We didn't actually weren't able to finish it because when it comes to records, you have like a ballpark deadline where you're like, okay, we spent enough trying to do this. Like, you got to wrap it up. Initially, there was going to be 13 songs for this, and it kind of weaned down to 11. But anyways, it's super cool that this came out, and what's even cooler is I'd imagine they're going to want a follow-up to this too, and at least we have all these other awesome songs just to keep the party going. Johnny wants to know if there's a solo band ever play Giving Yourself Away live. Pearcy and Warren done it Friday night. I like the guitar on that song. I've played it live with them. Yeah. God, we did it like a decade ago, and then I think we were doing it a couple years back with Bloss. I think we tried it a couple times. Yeah, with them, they do it and it kind of works. I don't know. I feel like when the solo band does it, it's mixed. You know, it's like it's a very long song. I feel like it's close to 5 minutes long, and I personally like the song, but I don't know. I think we just felt like it kind of the set was dragging around that point or something, or maybe Steven wanted to do things different where that's a song he wants to do if he's with the Rat guys. I guess if a bunch of fans are asking for it, we could bust it out. I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that we're gonna play some new songs off the new record. You know what I mean? Probably play at least 2 songs off the new record mixed in with the hits that we already do. Stop the music, everybody. Jerome Davis, the Leo, is here. How you doing, my friend? Jerome's always at the Fright Bite, and he's been showing up to these Unleashed shows. Thank you so much for coming by. Skylar, no. What's okay? RDT's talking to Skylar. All right. God, it's so hot here. We don't have air conditioning by the beach, and I didn't get a fan for the summer, and this is when it finally starts getting hot. It's like August, September, and it's just like at the end of the day, you could just see the sun is so much closer than it normally is. and it just cooks here like right around this time. I can feel I'm not even moving around. I'm sweating right now. I was wondering, Spicoli's asking, if you ever sat for Pearcy when he was on tour, and what did your days look like? If you ever house sat, oh, that's funny. I have house sat for Pearcy. That you've asked about that. At one time, he had a dog. He had a little dog that he rescued that was kind of high maintenance, and I had to come in and watch his house and medicate. I put medicine on this little dog of his. It was like this it was this mean little dog that used to bite everybody, except, well, even Steven it would bite sometimes, but he, I don't know, it was an interesting relationship. Sadly, that dog ended up passing away at some point. But the days there, nothing big, just hanging out with his dog and watching TV, eating his food. That was about it. Nothing, no big stories there. Okay. RDT's commanding everybody smash that like button. Yeah, man, if we're gonna compete, we gotta get the like button, we gotta get some hypes. I love it that I got some regulars here that always share, JC and Marsha and Smokey, and yeah, everybody that helps out. Brad. Got Matt Bolin. How you doing, buddy? On my way to the cinema, going to see Ghost. New movie. Is this a remake of Ghost, of the original Ghost? Anyway, I hope you have an awesome night. I'll have to check that flick out. Let us know how it is. Well, well, well. We got Christianity. Hey, Eric. Excited to finally be here again.
Sexy times.
Well,
Wasn't she pretty, princess?
I love all these pretty princesses showing up. We're happy that you're here, Christianity. We got Dale Hap. Heard B-side track off the new album was pretty rocking. Yeah, Steven's teased a couple tunes. Which funny was he was teasing them before they were even had their final mixes done and everything. But I let a couple people hear some of the songs. As I mentioned to you guys, one of our regulars, Skojo, unfortunately last week suffered a terrible stroke when he was out at a concert and hit his head. He always worked in the music business. He was on the crews the production crews for the big shows and the big events that would set up all the scaffolding and have to go up on ladders and scaffolds to set stuff up. That was Scott's life for a long time. And at one point he had fallen off of one of those and kind of ended his work in that field. And he had surgery, he had plates and stuff in his neck. And so when this incident happened, it messed all that up, and he had to end up getting emergency surgery. And these situations, like when you have a stroke, you're usually one side of your body's toast, for at least a certain amount of time. And so super scary, as he was experiencing that. And I got sent a picture, Tim Lloyd, one of our mutual friend who's a Fright Biter and an Unleashed hanger outer. He became friends with Scott over the last year or so, or a couple of years, I should say. And he went to visit him, and he sent me a picture, and oh man, it's super sad. Scott's just, when you see a friend of yours and he's just not, totally beat up because he fell, he hit his head, he's now getting a little bit of feeling back, luckily, in some of his stuff. But he's a huge, Rat fan, and he always has been coming to see us. That guy will drive 10 hours to come see the band. So I made sure Scott got to hear a handful of songs, just cheered him up. And a couple of you guys that are, huge supporters of mine, Marsha and Jim, I let check out a couple of tunes. And speaking of my super carrot Marsha, she's here. She wants this 10 ski to go to Catnip and Cat Toys for Kylie and Charlie Cat. All right. Well, that's what I got to do. And oh my God, I feel like a pretty princess. I'm getting jewels from Michael K. Dude, this is so cool. Yeah, next Wednesday, a week from today, is Marsha's birthday. Birthday, would you like me to dance? Birthday, would you like a chance? Yeah, so we'll have to celebrate my Super Carrot's birthday next week, and she won on the Wheel of Misfortune last night. Which, man, to be honest, Marsha loses on it. She's lost on that thing like 100 times, and I feel bad because she's like probably one of the biggest supporters of the show. But last night she's won the last 2 times. She had just got her mystery box from the week before that winning, and she had thanked me for that. And then she won again last night. So this mystery box is going to have to be special. That goes out to her because it's going to be like a birthday mystery box, and then we can party for her birthday next week. So, again, I appreciate all my good friends here that supported me through all the BS that was going on this whole past year. It's got me back on my feet, and now the channel's growing and like doing cool stuff. I didn't really know what to do with this channel, but I love being an entertainer, and I'm a creative guy. I love comedy, and I've been able to do a little bit of everything here, and now thousands of people are subscribed to it, and I want to double that. Not to be greedy. I'm not trying to be greedy about it, but I'm just saying my goal by the end of 2026, I want 5,000 subs by the end of this year, and I think I'm gonna pull it off with the Dogg Mob album coming out and the couple gigs we have this year and vlogs and the Fright Bite picking up. We're gonna get there as long as you guys keep talking about it, water cooler talk, and I think it's gonna happen.
Let's have us a champagne jam.
All right, let's get back in, talk to a few more people. We got Scuff here, everybody. Possibility of listening or a release stream for the new album when it's out. Yeah, I want to do. I'll do a little bit of that. I mean, anytime I share music, I end up having to share the royalties of the show with the writer or whoever. Now, being that I am a writer, I would still see some of that on the back end. So with Dogg Mob, I'd be willing to do that a little bit. And also, as a guitarist, I know people are like, "How come you don't play?" And honestly, you can watch so many videos of me playing live with Stephen Pearcy, which is more how I prefer to be seen in my stage clothes with my amps turned up in a crowd, and I'm like a live player. That's where I thrive. You know what I mean? I feel like when I play by myself. Have you ever seen the Jack Black movie Pick of Destiny, which is like such an amazingly funny movie, but when they get into a fight and his sidekick goes his separate ways, and he's at a party, and he starts trying to play, and all these chicks want to see him play, and he plays the songs, but it's just like not the same when Jack Black's not there singing it. Like, he needs the whole thing, and people just are like, meh. And they're like, this is all right, you know what I mean? And so I kind of like, I guess I had some hesitation because of that. And also, I don't like to I don't want to do that with RATT songs. You know what I mean? Like, let me say. So many guitar players are do their play-alongs with all this stuff, and a lot of times people play the stuff wrong or whatever. I've never been somebody that totally does every little nuance like the album of that artist. You know what I mean? That's generally, even sometimes I just don't like what the guy was doing, or maybe I didn't pick up on it but don't care. Joel's kind of this way too, like on the Warren solos. He's kind of from the same way that's like, well, it's not as cool if you do every note exactly the same as the album. Like, you should be able to do a little bit of your own thing with it, unless it's a very melodic thing that's like a key phrase that's going on. Warren's done some awesome solos. Probably arguably his best solo would be Lay It Down, right? Also, the double solo in Round and Round. or even the round and round solo for that matter. Those like solos like that were brilliant solos, and they deserve to be played, like that. I mean, I could tell when there are other solos where it's just a bunch of wanking off stuff. You know what I mean? I don't think people would even notice if your phrasing, changed a little bit on there. But I never felt a desire to sit here and play along with the Rat songs. Now, with that said, I'm finally ready. I think when this Dogg Mob album comes out, and I'm now have StreamYard and these tools, I think that I'll do it almost like a hey, here's how I played On the Edge off the new Pearcy record, or here's the riff to Love Drive. You know what I mean? Like sit there and maybe play along with it or do a guitar lesson of it. And like that's something I'd be willing to do, because what are people going to say about that? Hey, you're not playing it right. No, the real guy's way better than. No, I am the real guy that wrote it. So you're actually getting to see the guy that wrote it show you how he played it. You know what I mean? To me, I think that's cool. All right. Everybody's loading me up with all kinds of crazy stuff. We got John Evans throwing 20 tonight. Heard StreamYard was going up, so I'll kick it up for the channel. Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate that, man. I don't know if it is. StreamYard. It's about $50 a month to be on the platform, but I love it. It's real. It's user friendly. It's just got a cool screen when I have guests come on. It looks good. Everybody kind of looks good. I have a filter on. It's not a super heavy filter, but it kind of makes a difference because like I don't have the best lighting, you know what I mean? So, and sometimes I've just been like home getting stoned all day, and I don't know. I feel like this kind of like makes me at least look, you know, whatever, presentable, if you will. Um, we also got 700 more jewels. Oh, I thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. I think those help the channel out, so appreciate it. Okay, we got Fred Solopow. Rest in peace, Tim Curry. I worked for a radio station in San Francisco when I met him, and out intern was Carson Daly, a real dork back then, but Tim was a real nice person. Rock on, Eric. Yeah, Carson. I liked Carson Daly. He was kind of like a Greg Brady kind of guy in a lot of ways, but there was nothing for me not to like about Carson. He just looked like a good dude. You know what I mean? I don't even know what Carson's up to these days. But Tim Curry, of course, is a legendary actor, and man, his last years have not been kind, right? I mean, but it's crazy, like what a good attitude he's had through it, and he's continued to go out and meet the fans. There's I've seen a lot of friends of mine on Facebook sharing pictures that they've had taken with him at, I would imagine, conventions and stuff, maybe horror conventions and so forth. And he's in a wheelchair and he's up there. The dude, another guy, passing away this week at the age of 80, which is acceptable. I mean, if I live to 80, I can't be too pissed off. I mean, I'm okay right now. You know what I mean? I got a cool enough life that if I got some super bad news, I can face it, but to know that I get another 30 years of partying with you guys and just becoming a better human being, learning how to evolve and hone my talents and just make all my dreams come true. That's super cool too. And if I make it to 80, I'll be more than happy. My mom's getting close to that. She seems like she's going to be hanging past that age, as well as my dad. So no reason why that shouldn't happen. But to take a minute and talk about Tim Curry, of course, doing the Time Warp again, the Rocky Horror Picture Show movie was a sight to behold, him in that. Very strange, you know what I mean? As a kid, I didn't know what to think of that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously that was from before I can remember, David Bowie and Ziggy Stardust and in that era, it was that was what, like late 60s, early 70s, that kind of androgynous heavy metal kind of thing started to creep into music. and it was real like gender bending, pushing the envelope, and that would continue into the 80s when, damn it, people went out of their way to look like a crazed transvestite, as far as like a look goes. Some of the wildest looks that I could think of ended up being like D. Snyder. I'd have to give it to him. He was like one of the wildest looking guys in the 80s, and just the name Twisted Sister, you're like, is this whose sister looks like this guy? But Tim Curry, later, I'd say one of me and I have a younger sister, and she's 5 years younger than me, but there was a couple things that me and my little sister would watch on TV that we could bond with and enjoy, and one of them was Clue. Clue, the movie, we loved for some reason. That was a super cool movie, and it had like, if you guys remember that movie, it was one of the first films in the theater that had different endings, which was an interesting marketing tool. I don't know if I've ever gone to a movie multiple times to go see the other endings. Have you guys? I don't think that ever worked on getting me to go again. But typically, if you get the DVD or something, you can see all the alternate endings that way. And I find that stuff pretty cool. And that was one of the marketing things they did for Clue. So if I had to say like my favorite Tim Curry work, I'm gonna go with Clue just for the childhood memories of it. But yeah, man, bad week for losing our lifelong entertainers. Psychedelics here, y'all. Loving the Wednesday Night Unleashed. Always grateful to be in this amazing group of people. Well, thank you for saying that. I mean, I feel like it's dangerous, these days, doing comedy or trying to be funny. You know what I mean? People are real sensitive, and let's face it, these are weird times. There is a lot of cancel culture. Speaking of which, I got accused of that. You know what I mean? That, I don't want to go into too much detail, but obviously all the BS with our ex-tour manager, where I was like, yeah, definitely cancel that mofo. You know what I mean? But I had good reason to do that. I mean, I wouldn't have done that unless I felt that he was a threat, not only to people in the music business that I know and my comrades out there, not only a threat to them, but a threat to minors and stuff. So I felt it was definitely important to let people know that this dude needs to go. And I don't regret that. I think that in our lifetimes, if all of us stepped up to make this a better place somehow, and it usually requires getting rid of somebody that shouldn't be here. It's about that simple. Unfortunately, the way our country, well, it's all how you look at it, fortunately or unfortunately. We give a debt to society, and criminals have to pay that debt. And if, I guess, the jury and a judge feel that the person gets what they get and they serve that debt, they get to come back out. And a lot of people that hurt people get to come out and be in society with us again. And it's kind of a vicious cycle that goes on. They haven't figured out a way to stop that. Maybe in the future there will be. I don't doubt that they have the technology to do it, right? So as soon as you get marked for being a chomo or whatever, they probably stick some, hey, part of your punishment, we got to give you the chip. Next thing you know, you look, it's like Clockwork Orange, right? You even look at somebody under 18, you're like, blah, blah. I can only hope that they come up with that. Okay. RDT was saying, Skylar B, I'm still trying to heal for back surgery, and it's not getting any better, but I see the doctor tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I feel for you guys. I mean, as we are aging, we all have our old people problems, right, with our bodies. But, I messed myself up bad. I didn't get back surgery, but I know what it's like to have back pain. When I was 18, coming back from a crazy Hollywood adventure in the late, I would imagine it was like around 1988 or 89 or something. Me and my buddy, a friend of ours, his mom lent us a car, which was weird. She's like, oh, you guys are going to Hollywood? Psh, would you like to take my car? And I was like, I mean, we could have taken my buddy's little pickup truck, but I don't know why. Later, there might have been an agenda behind her doing this, but she gave us the car. We were going up to LA. I did notice on the way up something was wrong with the steering to this car. Like something, it would just get a little fishtaily, and I don't know what would cause that. It was a Ford Granada. It was like an old. I would assume it was either a late '70s, early '80s, like Ford Granada that we were taking up there. We ended up partying. We met some girls. I met some girl that didn't even speak English from Sweden up there. The 80s were crazy. You could just go up and meet people back then, and I don't know. But young people can do that sort of stuff. Like young people trust other young people. It's kind of been that way for a long time. You know, the old adage, don't trust anybody over 30. That's where there's something to that. But anyways, on the way back, a raised pickup truck full of young people. The driver couldn't see me and my buddy and this young lady we had, and he came into my lane. And as I like tried to swerve out, we were both speeding. We were probably both going like 90 miles an hour. This was on a stretch of the 5 that's kind of near Camp Pendleton. Like when you're getting to this area, it's just south of like Orange County. It's nothing there. It's almost like it belongs to the government, but the 5 runs like a 20-mile stretch till you get to Oceanside. And this happened somewhere over there, I think. But that car started fishtailing, and I wasn't even wearing a seatbelt, but I remember going up the embankment, sliding on the hood of the car, going up the embankment, tumbleweeds, dirt, all this stuff coming into the car, flipping back down. I think the car flipped like 5 times or something. I remember like holding on to the steering wheel for dear life, just trying to stay like in the car. And at some point, my head was like hitting the roof of the car. Eventually it came to a stop. As I came through, I realized everybody else was taken out of the car. They thought I had died. But I was in there and I had some head injuries in the back, and I had to get a bunch of stitches in the back of my head. But after that accident, I went to the hospital, but they had sent me home pretty fast. But I definitely had like back problems from that. Like I remember I wasn't even able to like walk really. I could definitely not jog or anything. I was like struggling to walk for a good year after that. I probably needed some kind of therapy or something back then, but I don't think I even had insurance at the time. So I just kind of went with it. But maybe because I was young, my body healed somehow back then because I was still a teenager. But I remember what that was like. And it's having a back problem is probably the worst freaking thing ever because you just feel so helpless and weak and vulnerable, and it's depressing and it sucks. So any of you guys like going through that, I feel your pain. I'm gonna send you vibes. I'm gonna send you some healing butt bongos. Oh god damn it. I hope you guys get better because I want you to be able to laugh without being in pain when you're watching me on here. What's Johnny saying here? I also briefly met Jimmy and Mick from Bullet Boys. Have you ever done any shows with the original Bullet Boys lineup? I haven't done shows with the whole original lineup. I used to go see the original lineup because I loved the Bullet Boys when I was a teenager because I loved Van Halen, I loved Aerosmith, and they were like, I don't know, like a mix of both. I mean, honestly, Mark Torian was, they were produced by Ted Templeman. They were supposed to be the next, like, young Van Halen in a sense. And I was all in on it. I had the Bullet Boys tape, the first one. Then I also got Freak Show. I thought that was awesome. And by this time, I was old enough to, like, at least go see him in Tijuana, which if you're under 21, you would go to a club in Tijuana called Iguanas, and Iguanas was awesome. Like, and I have great memories of going to see concerts there. And I saw Bullet Boys on the Freak Show tour back then. And fast forward years later, I've got to play with Jimmy. I mean, he comes in and he's filled in for Blas Elias like a couple years in a row now. I'm assuming he's going to do some gigs with us this winter or whatever when Bloss is on with TSO. I know I spoke to him yesterday. I got some pretty exciting news, y'all. Next week he's going to be here. What? Yeah. Jimmy DeAnda is going to be with us to party next week for Marsha's birthday, really. I mean, that's making her birthday more special already. So let all your Bullet Boys fans know that Jimmy's going to be here next Wednesday, and that'll be 5 o'clock Pacific time. And this is going to blow your freaking mind. You know who's going to be the guest the week after that, 2 weeks from today? Care to take a guess? He's a former member of the band RATT. Take a guess, guys. Come on. Be a part of the show. Be a part of the show. I can't just tell you everything. We got Brad Stoliker here, everybody. Evening, Eric. Word on the street is your boy Joel and Logan are tearing it up in Nashville together today. Woo! Oh, that's great news. That's great news. I like it. I think it's good that Logan's like out with Joel, right? It's like you get around that guy, it raises your stakes, your stocks, right? I was gonna say stakes. Yeah, sure, it raises the stakes, but also the stock value, right? That's totally cool. I love that. Joel's one thing I'll say about that guy. He's all inclusive. I mean, the reason why he's on Broadway and the reason why he's part of the TSO team and the reason why he's part of raiding the Rock Vault or all these things is because he's a team player. You know what I mean? It's not in his repertoire to dog people out or stab them in the back or cock block them or that's not his style. You know, I have to speak on his behalf right now. Joel, not that I need to do that. Everybody knows how great he is. But since he's come into the band's life and my life, he's been nothing but respectful to me. You know what I mean? And he's, right out of the gate was like, hey, man, don't think that I have to do all these solos or whatever. Like, you tell me. I mean, he was very humble, I guess you would say. But, I mean, obviously, playing where the level that the Pearcy band's getting to right now and the fact that, who knows what'll happen with the RATT name or whatever. We got to be ready for that situation, too. That we have a known dude whose life is being a soloist. You know what I mean? I'm totally excited to take on the role of Robin Crosby because I love Robin's playing, and Robin had such a great sound. I mean, he was the big reason why RATT sounded the way it did on guitar in those first records. He had a very distinct tone, and he always had the best equipment and pedals and shit, and his lead tone was killer. And Robin writes really melodic solos that kind of, remind me of almost like Boston or kind of, real screaming melodic leads that are right up my alley. So I do play more like him than I naturally would play like Warren, but I didn't let that stop me from taking the opportunity of playing in this band. And at the time, 25 years ago, Stephen was looking to not necessarily be a RATT clone. Like, remember, coming out of the 90s, the whole scene changed a lot, right? It went from 80s hair rock being boo bad and Nirvana and the Seattle stuff being more palatable, right, for the newer generations, or I guess my generation, really, because I turned 18 in 1990, so that was all. I was barely an adult when the 80s kind of abruptly ended. But personally, I like Nirvana. I liked all the Seattle bands. I thought they were all cool, and I loved Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and stuff like that. And there was other bands that were still putting music out, Nine Inch Nails, KMFDM, and Rob Zombie comes to mind. I mean, White Zombie. I like White Zombie. There was a lot of cool stuff through the 90s that weren't necessarily the shreddy 80s guitar stuff. Like, that got really played out by the end. It just got to be too many notes. I know there's a market for it. I know that there's guitar players out there that are bedazzled by people that play 11 billion notes, but honestly, it's not really tasteful to play that way all the time. There's different styles of playing that sound incredible that are actually take more skill. The finger picking kind of stuff, to me, that's the real incredible stuff. Or some of the jazz fusion things that you see, that's mind blowing. But the 80s rock stuff just started to all become all those dudes playing the same sweep picking arpeggios, and my ears just don't like it. People that try to put it out there that I suck on guitar, which is totally not true. Just because I choose, my ears don't want to play that shit. I don't want to play that stuff. I know that there's people that love Yngwie Malmsteen, but to me, that neoclassical with the Strat guitar, like his tone, everything about what he did, I hope nobody gets mad at me, but it just didn't really appeal to me that much. When he mellowed out and started doing I'll See the Light Tonight and You Don't Remember, I'll Never Forget, I liked those songs when he kind of played the game a little bit. Same with like Paul Gilbert. Like, I don't generally, his noodling and stuff is a little much for me, but like when he did Mr. Big, I thought they had some amazing songs too, where he played the game and did it right and played for the song a little more, and that's what I am. I'm a play for the song guy. I write songs, I make albums, and I have a place in this band. So unfortunately, there was a lot of like negative propaganda that was put out by the people we fired. You know what I mean? That really, when you have a lot of sheeple out there, you know what I mean? There's an echo chamber that can start, and that's what was so detrimental. What good came out of that badness? I had to speak on a platform, and I developed this Unleashed channel, and I got to speak my mind. I pretty much changed people's opinions of that. And then when they go, oh, wait a second, we were getting our brains scrambled, and they realize that I am great, and I'm a great recording artist too. And Frontiers, those releases, that's all my guitars on there. If you bought Smash or you bought View to a Thrill, you're not hearing anybody else's guitar on there. That's all my songs, all my guitar parts, all my solos. This record, Stephen wanted to bring in some friends. We had a couple different drummers. He brought in a couple friends on guitar. The whole thing's killer, but I'm on the whole thing. I wrote 70% of the compositions, the music parts. Matt and Steven wrote the vocals and did all the vocal production. I didn't really have much to do with the vocals on this, but the music itself, definitely, you wouldn't have the record without me. So like, who else are we talking about here? It's silly that I would even have to, defend that, but just to give people like some insights into what I think is good or not good. I appreciate anyone who takes their skill to whatever level, but when it comes to like the GIT guitar players, they have a bad habit of overplaying in the studio on songs, and I don't know. Like, I guess if you're doing, I mean, even Steel Panther Satchel actually does really tasteful solos. Like, I can't even accuse him of playing too many notes, because he's a guy who actually does kind of get it also, and he's a melodic player in the studio. His guitar work is, he plays for the song in Steel Panther, and it's awesome. You know what I mean? But unless, if you were another band doing like a spoofy 80s thing and you wanted some just Vinnie Vincent Invasion guitars on there, whatever, you know what I mean? I think the solos that I've recorded on the records are pretty in line with what Warren was doing, honestly. If you listen to like a song like Passion Infinity or something, I'd like to see any of you watching this play that song and put it on YouTube, you playing the solo to that, because I think you would have to work pretty hard to pull that off. Terp SQB, greetings from Connecticut. Yes, I love Connecticut's beautiful, man, and happy to have you here tonight. Monica, she just got back from Orlando. She says it was awesome. She got a pic with Bloss after the show too. Good to see him again. Missed you there though. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Sexy times.
I also heard from our mutual friend Wade and Kelly, who, if you watch the Road to Kerrville episode that Logan Stoliker plays guitar on, which is a great episode. Check it out if you haven't. yeah, they are the ones that hired us for Kelly's like 60th birthday party, and they've kind of continue to come out to see more shows. They had so much fun at the Pearcy solo show that I've been seeing them come out to these other gigs that we've done. And then they even went ahead and flew out to Orlando. So they've just been going nuts and uh, living like rock stars, flying out to all these shows. And I'm glad Monica had fun. I think Monica flew, but I believe Wade and Kelly had to drive because of her inner ear. They drove like 20 hours to go to that Orlando show. So that's cray cray. But yeah, it's gonna be the last time I think you see Warren with Steven for a while. So I think a lot of people knew that and came out to the gig. So that's super badass. RDT loves the Fright Bite. Yeah, it was funny. I was gonna play this earlier, but so the count like right before showtime wrote up some alternate lyrics to Eastbound and Down and called it Eastbound Fangs Down and performed the song for Dahlia. Was able to kind of do a dumbed down version of it, and it was pretty funny. But I thought I'd play it for you guys right now. Dun dun. Oh, you know what that is? That's something else. Hold on. Let me give you the thing I want to give you. What is it down here? Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Jumping down on your neck, I'm sucking. We're gonna bite down on it just for fun. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. We're gonna bite down on it just for fun. Well, I hail from Transylvania and I'm here to entertain ya. I'm gonna hunt the best ride bite that I can do. I got a friend named Edgar Merlin. In the ocean he's squirming, and he wants temptation shrimping from you. He's bouncing down on your neck, I'm sucking. We're gonna bite down on it just for fun. We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. We're gonna bite down on it just for fun.
Dahlia loves when I play guitar for her. And it's so funny because, I mean, I'm butchering the song and it's terrible. But she's like all into it. She's like, Chicks just love when you play guitar. I mean, I don't know if that's why I initially started it, but that was definitely part of it. You know, like, man, I better learn to do something cool. I mean, I'm not over 6 feet tall and whatever. Better get some special skill, right? So that was kind of funny. What else did I do? Oh yeah, the Count. The latest thing the Count's been doing to try to earn extra vampire dollars. If the people don't throw in enough for a super chat to do the mystery box, he's been offering to eat eyeballs on the live show, which is kind of gross. But you know, that takes me back to being a kid. Like you're in high school and there's always that guy that you give him some money and he'll eat anything, like a bug or a spider or something. It's kind of that mentality. But just before I play this clip, just for a little background, I of course have my StreamYard sound drops and stuff I do here. Well, Dahlia, she has her own little thing going on at her place. Like she has her little drops too, so you can hear her doing stuff. And she has like this honking horn that she throws in sometimes. So that's who's doing that. But anyway, here we go. Don don. Don don. Don don. Don don. I. Don don. Don don. Don don. I. I'm gonna go full screen for a second. I see you, pool time. I know what you want. I can tell you want to see me devour this really weird hey I'm Honky, I told you I'm trying to do a show. I ain't gonna tell you again, Honky. I like the Fright Bite. Oh, excuse me 1 minute. Hey, I'll be out in a minute, donkey. Man.
This guy's been stoned since the 3rd grade.
Oh, God.
The master will kill you for this. But not
I'll pretend this is your eyeball, honky.
slowly. Oh, so slowly.
Well, someone's stepping on the gas.
This is a tasty burger.
My immediate reaction is no, but I've got kind of a yesy aftertaste.
It's so stupid. We have a crazy time. I don't know. To me, like, even this podcast, I don't know. It's kind of silly. Like, all podcasts to me seem stupid to me right now. I guess because I've seen so many of them and I've been like a part of the podcasting world with Chris Aka and stuff for a couple years, and I see everybody that's doing their thing, and I'm just like burnt out on all of them. And I think that was my main like inspiration for doing the Fright Bite. The Fright Bite is a spoof on podcasts, you know what I mean? But it's just turned into something cool. And the people that are there every week see it for how I fantasize it to kind of be. But it's getting there. But it's just a wild time. It's for the most part it's pretty unscripted unless I have other characters that come in, because we play all the bad guys that are in it and the good guys. There's no other people involved in the show. The show's completely independent. Dahlia and myself do everything for it. So we are all the characters basically. And it's just a wild time. In those situations we have to pre-record, but then what we do is show it live and then interact with it live. So even though we did something pre-recorded, we're still live on the show talking to that character, which is ourselves, which I don't know, it's kind of unique. It almost reminds me a little bit of stuff like Conan O'Brien used to do back in his heyday. I don't know if you guys enjoyed watching Conan and stuff back, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But he had so many like goofy little call-ins of characters that he would like stop the show and deal with for a second. They were just it was silly and stupid, and really low budget. But when you worked all day and you're just trying to like clear your head, it was welcomed comedy, especially with all the crap in the world and sad stuff we have to deal with and bad things happening to our friends and families and in the world. And it's like we really got to keep our laughter. We can't let anybody steal our happiness, right? As Americans, I also, anywhere else you are, I know I have fans just out in Canada and Venezuela and all kinds of cool places too. No matter where you are hearing my voice right now, we all have to keep our smile and keep our laughter. It's okay to get mad too. Sometimes we're human beings, hopefully. I don't know if any of you are, I don't know, just put in the Matrix or something. If you're, what is that, a NPC? Are you a non-player character? Maybe you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But human beings get mad and we blow up. I actually am okay with people that yell once in a while, you know what I mean? If they're like rah, 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 it's like you let them blow off steam. It's the quiet ones you got to worry about, the ones that are super even keeled. Next thing you know, you're like strapped to a table and they're like dismembering you. You know what I mean? I mean, we're all like a product of our environment in a lot of ways. And for me, I was born in the early 1970s in New Jersey. Do you need to know anything else? We yell, I'm a mutt, but like I have like a Sicilian Italian mother, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to hear me go off sometimes. For the most part, I think all the craziness is behind me, so you guys won't have to see too many more, hopefully not see any more episodes where I'm angry and giving death threats to people. You know what I mean? Like, but hey, I kept it real. You know what I mean? I didn't put on a happy face. I was like, if I was upset, I let you guys know it. And like I said, when you're here, anything goes at the solo shows. You know, on Wednesday, I just keep it real. There's no script here. You know what I mean? I speak to you guys from the heart, and I'm excited that you guys found a place where you found a safe space. I don't know. A lot of you guys are becoming friends outside of here, and I love that. Corey Feldman is a different guy for sure. Susie's saying, yeah, I'll always have a soft spot for Corey Feldman just because as a child actor, you know, his contributions to Hollywood as a kid, he was really special, man. I mean, he's a very intelligent guy, and he was a very smart kid. You know, I mean, Steven Spielberg taps you. You know what I mean, for fame. You know, it's pretty incredible, and he's got to do some amazing movies. Of course, some of mine are my all-time, you know, favorites, like Lost Boys. You know, he was amazing in Stand By Me. I mean, this guy's just done like some incredible stuff. He was in all the teen movies that of me going through high school. I used to go to all those. I used to go like soon as I was able to like get dropped off at the movie theaters, you know, when you're like 13, 14, and you know, going to the movies was just something we did back then in the 80s. That was just, we didn't have all the iPhones and all that stuff today and the distractions of today. We used to like, hey, well, I'll just go to the movies. I used to go see License to Drive, like his movies that he'd do with Corey Haim. And I mean, we're all probably around the same age, I would think. I know things got interesting for him on the Michael Jackson, you know, connection. You know what I mean? Where he was like super influenced by him. You know, he kind of like his personality almost took on this like Michael Jackson dancing thing. And I haven't met Corey to like, you know, ask him like honestly, like if it's a shtick or like a tribute or he, you know, what I don't, you know exactly what that is, but he's been doing it long enough that it's really, to me, it's no different than, you know, Count Cracula doing the vampire thing, you know, or whatever. It's like, I mean, I honestly believe I'm Count Cracula. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm not acting, you know. I mean, that dude is like lives inside of me, and he just comes out. So, you know, Corey, you know, Michael Jackson lives on through Corey Feldman. I have got a little bit of insight from David, our tour manager, just as far as the behind the scenes on Corey's band or whatever, because I saw some documentaries too by some of his ex-bandmates where they like pretty much threw a bunch of shade at him. Even those ones that I watched, it didn't really, it kind of made me go, whoa, this dude really knows how to like party and throw down. Of course, you got the bands crying about getting stiffed financially, which that's very common. You know, any of you that are listening to this show that have played in a national act, I'm sure that's how it was for you when you get that first gig playing for someone that people have heard of but aren't necessarily super successful at this particular time, but people have heard of them. You get that gig, man, you're lucky if you get paid at all, or if you even get like 50 or $100. And that's the truth. It's all just, it's not a facade. I mean, you are like, that's part of what paying your dues is. You know, these people give the unknown guy a chance to come and join the band. They're not going to pay the unknown guy a bunch of money to play for them. They're going to pay the guy who's trying to make a name for themselves. Like, even when I got the gig in Steven's band, I was getting a fraction, dude, of what I get today. I'll tell you what he paid me. You'll laugh. You know what I mean? But when he called me in 25 years ago, and he had the bus, and he was headlining a tour, and what have you, he paid me $500 a week, and we were playing like 5 and 6 nights a week. So that means I was getting like less than $100. No wonder he was in the back drinking and laughing. He's like, "Pfft." He's like, yeah, you can play with me as long as you want for that price. So it was funny. It was like probably maybe the second tour that we did the following year, where he's like, I remember Don, who was doing, he was like our sound guy, and he goes, man, you need to ask for a raise. Like, you're the least paid guy out here. Even the tech's getting more money than you. And I was like, so, I mean, but I understood that. And then there was some other bands, I played in the band Earshot for a second. They kind of did that to me, where it was like, I was doing the math. I'm like, geez, $30 a night, guys. I don't know about this. I became a little disgruntled after a few weeks of that. But that's just the way it is, man. You got to kind of get out and be seen. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully when you take a gig like that, you're at least playing for some people. So you get to like post on your social media and look like you're somebody. And if things go right and you got some good footage of you out there, you can maybe parlay that into getting another gig with somebody that takes care of their people a little better, or what have you. I don't even know. Oh yeah, I was talking about Corey Feldman, because when I hear the stuff about money and whatever, like, that doesn't really surprise me. That's not enough to make me hate Corey Feldman. You know what I mean? And anyway, where am I going with this? Hearing from Dave, I guess a lot of those his musicians were actually paid by somebody to come in and throw a bunch of shade and even make some stuff up. And from what I understand, they actually, this is according to David, he's saying that those musicians have since gone to Corey and apologized to him for making that documentary. So, and this documentary, I believe, is a straight to YouTube thing. You know what I mean? It's not something that's on, or is it? Is it on Tubi or Netflix? I don't think so. But yeah, I would take it with a grain of salt. I mean, he's an eccentric dude for sure. I mean, I'm going to argue that one, but I look forward to meeting him, at some point and just going, "Hey man, what's up?" So, I'm not going to smack him down, man. Okay. What's Johnny Potter saying? I hate to mention him, JG, but I met Steven last year and Dave made it way better this year. Dave's a nice dude. Yeah, it's interesting, if you watch the latest tour vlog, when it kind of kicks off the first scene, you see we're at the van, and David's like, he's like a dad that's fed up, that has too many kids, right? He's like a dad that's got 8 kids, that's like kind of being the Boy Scout leader. And he's a big dude. Like, David's like, he's got to be like 6'3" or 4 or something. And he's loud, he's, husky, and he's like taking command. It's like, you're a little like army group or something, you know what I mean? And he's the head dude trying to like get us all on the same page, and he drives, which is amazing, right? Anyways, yeah, things are way better. Everybody in the band is just kind of looks at each other as like, wow, this is amazing. What sucks is like we could have had Joel for a couple of years now, and that upsets me. Like, that there was definitely an agenda to keep him out of the fold and to keep the other guy in there for obvious reasons why JG would have done that. You know what I mean? But he steered it in a way that made the band a dumpster fire instead of an awesome celebration of the rap music, in my opinion. And I think people are now realizing, after seeing Joel's done like I think 5 shows or whatever, they're starting to figure it out that we sound amazing. And not only that, now we got 2 guitar players that are both performing at capacity and running around and striking the poses and doing the moves and stuff and putting on a show. Which is, if you ain't sweating, you ain't doing it right. That's not something to make fun of somebody for. That's putting in the work for a good show. Meow Woman, hi everyone. I'm trying to break out of my shell and get wild with you all. Shy mode off, wild mode on. Well, that's awesome. No, I've enjoyed having you here, Meow Woman. You're you're definitely a part of the Fright Bite. You're an official Fright Biter, and you're an official Unleashed Cool Cat. I think I call it the Cool Cats. I have yet to put anything on the members only yet, and I noticed I just looked yesterday. I had like 20 members, and I thank you. I mean, as far I know, Stony, had said to me, I'm a member because this is my contribution to the show, and he just lets it ride. And, I appreciate that. I kind of assumed that's what everybody was doing, but I am going to edit some special, like, Fright Bite behind the scenes stuff, Adalia, and some cool things to put into this. So we've got cool stuff to come, but yes, go crazy, go crazy. Let me see. Spicoli, Willie will outlive us all, son. Man, yes, it's true. I was going to look for where was my one drop?
I know that, dude.
Man, where's that one though? I gotta rewrite these.
What are you people? On dope?
What are you people? I know it's funny, like when you read science journals and stuff, and they're just always changing what's good for you or bad for you. Like, oh, eggs are bad for you. Oh no, eggs are good for you. And like they've been doing that with weed forever. You know what I mean? But like if you stopped and like used common sense, you'd realize that baby boomers would have never got as old as they are if weed was bad for you. I mean, if you take it back to Woodstock, you know what I mean? Like all the people that were smoking since back then, and there's so many people that's still that age that smoke today. You know what I mean? And they're not dying of anything. You know what I mean? In fact, there's probably studies that show cannabis probably shrinks tumors. I don't know for sure. I don't want to give medical information. I'm not a scientist, but I know it makes me feel good and, gives me the sanity to face another day in the world and not worry about stuff. It helps me sleep pretty damn good. I mean, I smoke before I go to bed, and I feel like I conk out. And I prefer not to have dreams. I mean, I don't know if you guys like when you have dreams, but I don't, especially bad dreams. But I mean, I want to just go to bed and then wake up and go, oh, it's the next day. Like, I don't want to even remember the sleep. That's when I know I got a good sleep. And that helps me to do that. Susie Perry. Yeah, you got to get crazy, man. It's like the Seal song, right? You're never gonna survive unless you get a little crazy. You gots to. JC, got my adjustable looking adjustable darkness sunglasses today. They're pretty cool. Yeah, you gots to have some cool sunglasses, man. The rock and metal block. How about going back to New York and find Bike Lane Dude and bring him on the show? Ha ha ha. Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, that was fun. I almost felt bad. I'm like, is this okay? But that was a situation we were just like, we had traveled all day. And I mean, that was like one of those 15-hour travel days that David's like, hey, let's go to Manhattan. Let's go to Times Square. I mean, it was kind of funny. I mean, we were doing it not as a hate crime or something. You know what I mean? It was just us being wacky and just, I think everybody was filming everything. But that dude was in the car lane. You know what I mean? But I mean, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And when in New York, start shouting shit out the window, right? I mean, it's just, hey, up yours, hey. I mean, I got the drops, right?
All right, son of a bitch!
Up your nose with a rubber hose.
I mean, it would be funny if we walked by that man and
My case, toilet face.
if we walked by, I was like, off my case, toilet face. In your pocket with 6 Red Rocket. I got to find some more Welcome Back Cotter ones. Hey, Tim Carey just passed away. Rick Fox is here, everybody. Hey, Rick, man. Let me give you some applause, bro. Gonna give Rick Fox some applause. Gonna give him some butt bongos. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, Rick kicked off the new format of the show. I was like, after doing, 30 something episodes of like tonight, I rolled my eyes, of just me here flapping all coffeeed up. I was accused of being on cocaine. I literally would die. They told me when I got my stents, I got on medication and everything. They're like, if you were to do cocaine, you will die. So that's off the table. I just drink coffee. But I was getting like I'll watch some of these like tomorrow when I wake up. I'll have some coffee and I'll watch tonight's show and kind of see how lame I was or not. And I just started getting tired of myself, and I started doing these like marathon 3-4 hour shows, and I just got tired of me. I got tired of myself, and I'm like, all right, it's time to bring in guests, but I want to make sure that it's guests that I kind of know. You know what I mean? I don't want the pressure of having to like find people to come on the show every week. And that's a pressure that interview shows have. Like, oh, it was going to be, and then you end up getting people that aren't really I wasn't looking to get people less known than me on the show necessarily. I know I'm not going to score Johnny Depp on the show or anything, but there are, having been in this business for 25 years playing with Steven, I've gotten to know that whole circuit of bands, that all those 80 bands, the Slaughters, the Warrants, the Quiet Riots, it's like, dude, we all know each other, you know what I mean? So I'm like, why don't I start bringing in people that I personally kind of know and that you guys think of as rock stars, but I think of them as bandmates, or I think of them just as, people that I rock multi-bill shows with and stuff. So that's where we're at, y'all. With the exception of tonight, starting next week, we're going to yank Jimmy DeAnda in here. And that's going to be super cool. So be here a week from tonight. It's Marsha B's birthday. It's half Marsha B's birthday show, and it's like we got her a sexy cake and Jimmy Anaconda. I call him Jimmy Anaconda sometimes, but because he plays with no pants on. Oh my goodness. But I think that's the perfect guy to come jump out of a cake on Marsha B's birthday, right? So Jimmy DeAnda will be here next week, and then the following week we got the Crane himself, Robbie Crane, from Vince Neil's band, from Rat, from Warrant. He's been playing in Warrant. He's been thriving in Warrant lately, but these guys are legendary dudes. So definitely be here, be part of the show. Have questions for these guys. Susie's saying I look great. Well, it's the filter. It's definitely the filter. Okay. Johnny is having a beer. He's got his vape going. That's good. Good. I like those. Yeah. I mean, it used to be like when I travel, I would always be traveling with flower weed, and it was kind of an issue. It's funny. I'll never forget this one like hotel. We played it a couple times, or stayed at it a couple times, and all the air, all the like AC and everything in this hotel is like connected somehow. So when I had smoked like flower in my room, it just billowed out into the whole like place. Like it was so bad. I'm like, oh man, this just isn't conducive. You know what I mean? To like staying in hotels, and they're getting hip to a lot of that too, and they're starting to find people and whatnot. And I just found like, if I'm just going for a couple days and I take one of those pens like that, where I probably have one sitting around here somewhere. But anyways, the airlines don't care about them. Spoiler alert. If you're traveling domestically, I'll tell you what they do care about. They don't care that you're bringing a weed pen on your flight or whatever. It's very important. They don't want you to pack it in your suitcase that gets checked. And the reason for that is for all of our safety, and it's important. I agree with it. It's like those things cause fires, you know what I mean? Just like any lithium battery, a cell phone, some of my equipment that I use has lithium batteries. Like the one of my transmitters for my Shure wireless, that thing has a lithium battery. They'll throw that away. The THC will THC. The TSA. I wish they were the THC. Could you imagine you get to the airport? Oh, okay, here's your weed for the trip. We're the THC. That would be awesome. No, it's the TSA. But when they're checking your checked luggage underneath, anything with a lithium battery, they're going to take that out of your suitcase and throw it away, and you're never going to see it again. By the way, if you haven't traveled recently, let me tell you, that's what's going to happen. Now, it's okay if you have your backpack, right? You're allowed a small carry-on along with your big carry-on. I bring a backpack. Any those transmitters, anything I think they're going to yank out of my bag, I keep with me in there. And the vape pens, they're totally cool with it. They don't care. They do not care about those vape pens. Now, I'm not talking about traveling internationally. Like, if you're going to Japan or something, I do not recommend that. You know what I mean? Or you're going to Canada, flying to Canada, I don't necessarily recommend that. I don't know how those countries feel about it, but I'm going to guess they don't like it. So I wouldn't mess with it. But here in the U.S., it's like it ain't even a thing. They don't care. What they care about is a fire starting underneath. So they just ask that you keep those on you. And so that's what I've been doing. I cruise with that, and it's like I don't stink the whole hotel up, and I don't bum anybody out, and it's pretty stealth. With that said, though, I don't do just that. I do the flower thing too, because you can't vape anything too much. You'll get popcorn lung. Like, I've literally known multiple people that have died from the popcorn lung from vaping. I don't know if you guys know people too. I feel like the ones that do the nicotine, I think that's a bigger culprit. That's effing people up than the vape pens you buy in the weed store. I think, maybe I'm wrong. I'm totally guessing. It's like an educated guess that supposedly they're supposed to be regulating the stuff in the pot stores, unless it's some mock store or whatever, illegal operation. If it's a regular operation, they get audited on that stuff and they get checked, and I'm pretty sure it has to be like of a certain quality, I'm hoping. Anyways, but the nicotine ones, man, people go into those smoke shops, and I don't know if they have to go by the same rules. And I've seriously, I know people have full on died from that, man. It's scary. And young kids, it's like an epidemic with sucking on those nicotine things. They're getting so much more nicotine than you would out of a cigarette or something. I figured out early on that even cigarettes are probably better than those. Even though you think you're getting away from the evil bad cigarette, I could tell that my lungs hurt so much worse whenever I smoked any kind of nicotine vape than if I actually had a cigarette. Thankfully, I quit the cigarettes like 7 or 8 years ago, and I am never going back. Spicoli's saying it sounds like I need a tech, dude. Yeah, if there was a one that was worth his salt, but the ones that really know what they're doing are expensive, man. They probably get close to the same amount that I do. I'm just like, give me all the money. I'll change my own guitar strings. But it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? My setup's pretty easy right now. I mean, the backline's supplied, and nobody really sees me. Fans don't see me at sound check. You know what I mean? So I got to be at sound check anyway. I don't really need somebody. I have my guitar, my 2 guitars I bring, and then I have 2 other items. I have my wireless setup for my in-ears, and then I have my pedal board that goes in the front of the stage. The pedal board has like a couple Boss pedals, and it has the Tonex. The Tonex is like one cable coming out of it that goes into the return of the Marshall head they have there. And from there, I have the same tone every show from that, which is my Splon amp that I made a profile with Matt for. That's really great. And I used it on the new Dogg Mob album. I used a couple different things on the Dogg Mob, but definitely used a lot of the profiles in the studio for there. But I'm just trying to paint a picture of what's become a very easy peasy setup for me. One cable, and when it comes to guitars, I don't trust people with my strings. Like, when I got to go out there, especially with like a guitar that's got the Floyd Rose, like if they didn't do their diligence stretching those strings, it's gonna sound like shit out there. I'm gonna be tuning all night. So I only really trust myself to have those guitars intonated and ready to rock. There are dudes that do it great, but they're expensive. And as I said, I was like, give me the most money possible and I'll do all my own stuff. And I've been doing it for 25 years like that. Michael saying it always blew his mind how Leonard Skinner did their dueling guitar solo at the end of Freebird. Yeah, that was probably like one of the original longest outro solos ever, right? But it's such a classic. People still yelling to hear Freebird. Bernie Trucks! Eric, I got to see Rat and Bon Jovi back in 1986. That's so cool. Yeah, Rat. It was Rat opening for Bon Jovi, and then they got too big, and they started headlining, and then they took Poison out, I believe, the following year, and then Poison got too big, and man, it was crazy times, crazy times. I started to get to see Rat after I met Steven. The first time I ever got to see Rat was at, and I've talked about this, it's super cool. After the show tonight, you could go on YouTube and look up Rat at the Whiskey in 1990, I believe. Type that in, and I BS'd my way as a 17-year-old into that show and got to see Robin Crosby, Juan, Warren, Bobby, and Steven on the. It was basically around the Detonator time. It was a KNAC special event to promote the record, and it was a very limited show as far as tickets because the whiskey's not super huge. I mean, the whiskey, I want to say the whiskey only holds like 500 people or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, if not much more. And this was one of those events where only like 500 people were going to get to go see Rat, which were, I mean, at this point, they were starting to play amphitheaters. They were going from like arenas to amphitheaters. But this show was like super cool if you were there. It was loud as F. But I saw it's on YouTube, and you could watch it and kind of know what it was like to be me there as a 17-year-old seeing it. They opened up with Shame, Shame, Shame. They had the Warren D little intro, and then it kicked into Shame, 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 and it was like super cool. And I mean, I was 17 years old. I got to, of course, meet the band and meet those guys back then. And then the next one I saw was at Irvine Meadows. I saw them play. They were headlining, and they had LA Guns, and they were doing the Contraband thing at that time. And they had Michael Schenker on the other guitar. And I got to go backstage at that. I remember meeting Michael Schenker, and by then I think I was 18. And then it kind of ended, and he would get into doing Arcade, which was super cool. Of course, we know Frankie played in the solo band from Arcade, but Arcade was awesome. That was the 90s, and Steven was moving away from the hair band thing and kind of doing what was more acceptable in the 90s, which is like more Aerosmith was okay. If you were doing like a classic, pure kind of rock, it was acceptable. And so he did that. I think I wanted to touch on that earlier when I was talking about why Steven kept me in the band 25 years ago. That was part of it. You know what I mean? He liked the punk rock he loves punk rock, but he wanted to do something a little different. You know what I mean? He didn't want to do the hair band thing necessarily. He liked having somebody in his band that was from the new school. I mean, Steven thought ahead like that. You know what I mean? He didn't want to keep regurgitating the same thing. I know there's people that expect to see clones of those guys, you know what I mean? But that's not how Steven thinks. And he's the boss. So he's the guy, the artist with the vision, and you got to trust his vision. And I'm happy that he had the faith in me and gave me an opportunity to grow as an artist, as a guitar player. It's been a great guitar lesson to play these Rat songs for 25 years, and now I make these records with him, and I feel like it's all reached this time where now the Dogg Mob's going to come out, and you're going to hear a couple of the songs I wrote on there that are just freaking cool. Like I hope you guys enjoy them for a long time. I mean, I can only hope. I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna think of it. Willie Wayne's like, good job on the Eastbound. Yeah, I mean, for one, my philosophy on doing music, comedy music for the Fright Bite is don't practice it too much. Like, I found that if I don't even try to learn it till an hour before the show, it's funnier. It kind of has that. Remember, like when you'd watch Saturday Night Live and like Adam Sandler or something would come out and play, and he would like break character and laugh or like kind of barely get through it. It was like not horrible, but not great. It was like somewhere in between, but that's what made it funny. That's what I'm kind of going for when Count does a song. I mean, there's really not much going on. It's the same microphone, and I just grab an acoustic guitar. It sounds about as bad as it's going to sound, and that's how you know. Like if you're watching something and it sounds really good, they probably pre-recorded it or did all this stuff to it. Because when you actually play live on a podcast, it sounds like poo poo caca, like it just really does. And that acoustic guitar is like an Epiphone. It's like a I don't know, $200 or $300 acoustic guitar. It doesn't really sound all that great not plugged in. Maybe if I plugged it in, it would sound a little better. It's supposed to have a decent like pickup in it or something. But I just like grab that thing, and it just sounds. The guitar sounds thin, trying to get a balance of me singing, and it just doesn't sound that great. But it's okay enough for comedy. Like I do it because no matter how bad it is, it'll be funny. So it's like that was kind of how it went with that song. And you just with comedy, you have to be a little courageous and just put it out there, But I'm glad you dug it. That's cool. Nicole's like, mustache? No, no. I know. I mean, obviously, I'd have to put a fake one on, and I already got enough fake stuff going on with the Count. Skylar thought the Fright Bite was fun show last night. I think they're getting more fun. I mean, we're kind of like when the show starts developing things that you can expect to see on there, they become like the fans' like kind of favorite parts of the show or whatever. I was hoping that would happen, and that's kind of starting to happen a little bit. And then the Fright Bite finds its rhythm, you know what I mean? And it's not it's starting to be more fun to produce the shows, and it's starting to not be as much work as it seemed to be. Like I'm working smarter with it instead of harder. I feel like when the show first started, I was spending like 4 days getting ready for it, and then like only a couple hundred people are watching it, and I'm like, damn it. So then I'm like, all right, I'm only going to work on it day of show, and that way I won't be as mad if less people see it. But with these recent changes, trying to do like better thumbnails, and it seems like the audience is starting to come back again. Like I've noticed, like just in the last like week or two, we've had, I'd say, about a 25% increase, which I'll take it. I'll take it. Johnny Ponder, prayers for Skojo. Yes, this is awful, but he's with us. I'm sure he's watching the Fright Bite tonight, so definitely give him your well wishes. Oh, my homie T Cuz in the house, present, rat and roll. Good to have you here, T Cuz, our resident musicologist. Love it. Yes, RDT sending prayers out to Skojo. Mike's here, y'all. Dude, how do you stay in such good shape? Give us an insight on your diet, exercise routine. Well, I mean, if I was fat as hell, like in 2024, man, I was you got to remember, I'm barely 5'10". I'm not a tall dude, and when I get up to like 200 range, man, I start blimping up. And in 2024, like I wasn't happy in the band. We were playing a lot of shows, but it was like it was tough dealing with some of the personnel we had. And the only thing good there was a lot of food. We're like playing a ton of casinos, and man, these casinos were like giving us a crazy amount of money to eat at all their restaurants, and I was just eating way too much bad stuff. Gained a bunch of weight. I wasn't exercising because I had a heart attack, and I was kind of scared to work out. I was like, God, am I gonna have a heart attack if I work out too much? So I ended up just like not exercising enough, and that is a key to it. Starting back around, like I'd say, shoot, maybe 8 months ago, I was so pissed off over everything going on. I go, I'm gonna get into shape, and so I went to the gym that's here. They have an elliptical machine, which what's really good about those is it's not bad on your joints. You know what I mean? Of course, it's nicer to run out in public maybe or whatever, but anywhere around here, whether I tried walking around here, I'm right by the ocean, so it's flat as hell around here. There's no inclines anywhere. We're at the ocean's flat. The land here is flat. So I wasn't getting any real stress, you know, that you need to get a cardio workout. But on this elliptical, I went on the fat burner and I was like, I just started going for it. Like within a couple days of doing it, first I was at like 30 minutes I could do. Then it went to an hour. Like I do an hour on the fat burner, and you're doing this thing with the arms, and you got the pedaling thing with the bikes, and it's got the resistance on there. And that's how I did it. For the first like couple months, man, I really went to that gym like every day. And next thing you know, I lost like 30 pounds from doing that. And then it was just trying to stay away from some of the foods that aren't good, you know, the tortilla chips. We all have our thing. Bread for me, I love bread and English muffins and toast and pizza and all that. So I kind of had to try to be conscious of not trying to eat too much of that. I try to try to just eat twice a day if possible. Like I'll try to make it till like 9 or 10 a.m. and then I'll make some breakfasty thing, like either a breakfast egg sandwich or something, maybe even a breakfast burrito. I'm not above a breakfast burrito. I switched to turkey bacon. Like I'm kind of used to doing turkey bacon. I will use some butter. I don't think butter's as bad for you as they made it out to be. Margarine will kill your ass, but a little bit of butter isn't that bad. I'll take a little bit of butter, put it in the pan. I'll take my turkey bacon and I'll cook it in that little bit of butter. And then it starts to resemble turkey. I mean, bacon, regular bacon. Because if you just, when somebody serves me like turkey bacon that's just seems almost raw or like whatever, that's gross. Like I gotta like cook it up and get it a little crispy with some butter. Then it's like palatable. But I'll take like 2 of those, throw it on a tortilla, crack 2 eggs in there, throw some cheese, throw some salsa verde, and have myself a nice solid breakfast burrito. And then I'll try to make it till dinner time, which I used to cook dinner for you know who. I mean, it's like I said, I'm still on strike right now until I feel like I'm appreciated. But you know, 5 o'clock, we'd eat. I think it's good not to eat late. You don't want to be eating your dinner too late. I realize some of us work jobs where that's not possible, but if you can get your meal in that 5-6 o'clock hour, give yourself some hours of being awake before you go to sleep, you'll be better off. And then let's face it, avoiding buying too much sugary junk. You know what I mean? She gets a crazy sweet tooth. And there's times where I was just keeping too much cookies and chocolate and stuff around. That just works against you. So maybe once in a while is a treat, but you kind of got to keep away from that. I think when I'm kind of sticking to that, the sweetest thing I'll probably make is like maybe an English muffin with some peanut butter on it and like a little granola or something. Like that'll be a dessert. That's an easier dessert to work off than some, you know, bad cookie or something that's got tons of saturated fat in it. And I want to share another secret that I kind of just learned as far as like doing home for this is probably more for the dudes watching the show, but doing push-ups, right? Like that's one thing that I don't mind doing. I'm bad with the sit-ups, but push-ups, I changed the way I started doing those, and it's because some convict guy on TikTok or actually Instagram I kind of caught, and he gave their secret, the prison workout secret that I didn't know, and you probably didn't know this either, and I'll share it with you because you'll get way better chest gains from this. Instead of when you're doing the push-up, instead of like going all the way up like we were kind of shown when we were young or whatever. Don't do it that way. Instead, and you only need to like do 20 of these maybe here and there throughout the day if you do it this way. But push up, but barely go up. You just kind of just push up enough that you're feeling that pain right here, but don't go past to where you get the relief of like your arms being kickstands. Like if you just kind of do a range of like this high, it sounds weird what I'm saying right now. It sounds like like you're not strong enough to go up or something, but trust me, try doing just 20 of these a day where you only go up that far, where you're just seriously just keeping it that blood flow like right here. I don't even really breathe when I'm doing it. I almost like put all my exertion into it. I'm like, yeah. You know, I used to be able to do like 50 like this, but if you do it like this, doing 20 actually hurts, you know, because you're never getting the relief. But man, you start getting like that chest you never thought you could have, you know. It's weird. It's a weird trick basically, that you guys got to try that and you'll maximize what you're doing. Ronnie Sunico, what kind of car did Steven drive when you were neighbors in the mid 80s? That's a pretty great question. He drove a Porsche 935 Turbo, and it was a super sick car. And you know, back then in the late 80s, he was still such a big deal. He was living in Carlsbad. He had the house across from my parents, and people used to follow him. Like there would be Stephen Pearcy sightings. They would talk about on the radio, oh, Stephen Pearcy sighting today in this part of town or whatever. It was crazy. But if somebody saw him just tripping around, he was at the gas station, they would literally follow the guy back. And so he was like James Bond. He didn't have an Aston Martin, but he had that Porsche 935. And you'd hear him just whack, all of a sudden come peeling around the corner. And he'd be able to like time his electric garage door like perfectly. You'd hear the skid of him coming around the corner. The garage door would be not even fully open, and he would frick, and it would already be like on its way down. And like right when the people finally like caught up, or like, where'd he go? Where? Like that garage door was, and yeah, crazy times, man. Did I drive his Porsche, dude? No, I stole my dad's Porsche. My dad might be watching this. I actually got in trouble for that. But as we know, the movie Risky Business was not really a good movie to show to young dudes whose dads happen to have a Porsche. I know I'm making this sound like I was a rich kid, but certainly my dad was a high earner. He was a hard working guy. My dad. He was an engineer. What are some of his titles? He was at one point he was a director of instrument manufacturing. But you know, he was well off enough that we lived in Carlsbad, you know, and he treated himself to a Porsche. I don't think he bought it new. I think my dad bought a 944 Turbo. It reminded me, it was better than the Porsche that was in Risky Business. I want to say the Porsche in Risky Business was that a 924 in that? I don't remember. It was a little older than the one my dad had, but that was my dad's. You know, just like I said, I had my friend who celebrated his hard work and bought a 1978 Pontiac Trans Am. My dad always wanted to get a Porsche, and so he had that Porsche, and he'd go on like business trips. And once I found the spare key, and I just pulled a Risky Business a couple times and stole his car when I really didn't even know how to drive stick. And looking back, he should have beat my ass. My dad should have totally beat my ass for that. But he never did. My dad never really. I remember I got in a couple scuffles, but he kind of let my mom handle all that. To be honest, my mom made up for that in that department. Okay, moving on. T-Cuz, I like Tim Curry and Annie. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollars that tomorrow. John Huston was a great director. Yeah, that was a good Annie. I'll give you that one. Let's see. Datsun 200 SX. Death of Some Salesman. A Tales from the Crypt episode starring Tim Curry. I highly recommend it. Okay. I think it won an Emmy. Okay, well, I'll tell you that Tales from the Crypt is now on Tubi, I believe. So I will check that out. I wonder what season that was. Death of a Salesman. That sounds pretty cool. I don't know if I've seen that one, but I'll check that out tonight. It's weird, so be warned. I like weird. I like weird. I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like seeing people get tortured, and I don't like stuff that's too just gross. You know what I mean? I used to like zombie movies, but then I kind of got burnt out on them. Like because they just started getting too hyper violent. And I just kind of want to. I like thrillers and such. Eric, guitar question from RDT. How often do you change your strings, and how do you pick which guitars you're going to play live? That's a great question. Changing strings, I could go. I could probably go 3 gigs without changing my strings. Like if we had a three, like say we're playing 3 to 5 shows in a row, I'll probably do maybe 3 of them, and then there's just no getting around that with sweating and stuff. Even though I have these really good Ernie Ball wipes. If any guitar players out there, they're kind of like baby butt wipes, but I don't know what all they have in it. But if you take those after the show, you'll get more life out of your guitars. Like I always try to wipe those down after, and because if I didn't, like I'd want to change my strings every day. Like before that, like even with a towel wasn't enough. Like you're putting on an hour and a half rock show, those strings get some gunk on it, and they just don't feel good to play. So I found those Ernie Ball Wonder Wipes. I take those. I'll actually like grab the string and take those wipes and get it all cleaned up, and then it's pretty good. And the reason why I'll go 3 shows is because when you change your strings, you kind of find yourself struggling with tuning because the strings are kind of new, and you get the best life, show 2 and 3, they kind of start really hanging in good. Then you're living a little dangerously after that, especially with us kind of doing the stage moves and throwing our guitars around. One thing that I've worked on over the years that I've gotten better with as a guitarist is not picking too hard with this hand. Another thing, I use these points. I don't know why it's looking all weird on my screen. It's a yellow pick. Anyways, these was it 0.7 it's 3 point the 0.73 millimeter. These I guess these are like shredder guy picks. Not that I do a crazy amount of shredding, but I don't know, for some reason I felt like I like these because I always know where this part is. Like other picks, they start to get lost in my hand. I feel like I always got the point down on this, and it's very articulate, and I don't have to like overcompensate maybe with it. And I just found for many years I've been using these, and I stopped breaking as many strings. I feel like the rounder picks I dig in too hard or something. So you don't see me breaking too many strings during a show. I used to break strings all the time. If you saw me play in the Pearcy band in the first like 5 years, I was guaranteed break. I had my Les Paul or whatever. I'll break a string and change it right on stage. Just take my teeth and bite it. It was like part of the show, and I was kind of just too aggro maybe in the beginning. And now though, I've kind of learned the art of looking like you're rocking out, but your hand's actually super mellow. And I always break the strings down here by the bridge. So working on your picking technique of not trying to over hit those strings, just being a little more finesse, will increase the life. Taking those Wonder Wipes and wiping down after your show will keep them feeling fresh and good. So to answer the question, I'll go about 3 shows, and then I feel a little uncertain, especially now that I kind of went down a gauge. Like I was using 10 gauge strings forever, which are a little thicker. And with the Floyd Rose Charvels, I'm having better luck with the 9s, keeping those guitars with the whammy bars like feeling right and working right. For me, like once I changed to 9s, it wasn't as much work to get them into shape. Those thicker strings, I feel like I had to stretch them for so much longer Like seriously, with the Charvels, that was another part of your question. You asked which ones I decided to play live. Recently, I was bringing just the Les Paul out because they were charging me too much to take my Anki case with 2 guitars in it. So I was like, forget this. I'll just take a soft case with my Les Paul. I'll take it on the plane, and that'll be that. And that's what made me decide that. Then we got Joel in the band, and he's having all this fun with his EVH guitar. He's got his Warren Charvel guitar with the whammy bars. He's going crazy. He's doing dive bombs. He's having all this fun. And I remember when it was like to have fun with that. And honestly, those guitars are like the weapons of the Jedi Knight. You know, once you get into that realm where you're with the Floyd Rose, it's like it's like the difference between having a sword or having a lightsaber. And they take a little more work to have the lightsaber, but they're worth it. And so when I saw Joel playing that, I'm like, forget it. And he was muscling his guitars in on the plane with the soft case. And I'm like, all right, well, that's it. So I went back to the Charvels for Steven's band. So I'm going to take those and continue doing it this way. And so now I'm basically taking the soft case with 2 Charvels in it. I have 4 of those. I have 4 Charvels. Whichever 2 are working the best. That's my final answer. Like, because there's so many little parts and things, and whatever 2 seem like they're staying the most in tune, I go with. Although I do like to I have 2 Charvels that have ebony fretboards. I think I don't know if those are those might be the SoCals. And then I have the San Dimas. I have 2 San Dimas ones that have the maple. I think I need a drink here. Motormouth needs a drink. Time out. The San Dimas have the maple necks. So I do kind of like to either take two of the maple ones or 2 of the ebony ones. I don't know. Maybe that's an OCD thing or something. Okay. T-Cuz is saying 80% fused cervical here. C3T1. Also sciatica. Working oil field for 18 years and being overweight as an adolescent. Compromised my posture at a young age. Raised by gluttonous, slothful boomers. Yeah, I know, man. My mom used to send me to school with like 2 giant meatloaf sandwiches and a bag of chips and like a dessert and an apple and a Capri Sun. Man, she probably like sent me to school with like a 1,200 calorie lunch bag. And then you know what? Then I'd eat that, and then I wanted to go with the cool kids in the cafeteria to go eat pizza. So I'd go cough up $1, go eat a second lunch. Man, remember when you could just eat like crazy when you were a little kid? Oh my goodness. All right. So yeah, you're going to get to see JD next week, John Evans, Jimmy DeAnda. He couldn't come today at a dentist appointment, but he did commit to next week. So I'm locking him down on it. I'm going to get the thumbnail together and start advertising it ahead of time. It's going to be like, you're just going to get Jimmy DeAnda for the whole time. We're going to find out all this guy's life story. Like Jimmy was, I could tell you just a little preview. He's one of those like younger dudes that made it in a band. Like he was super young when he was in the Bullet Boys, just like Tommy Lee was super young in Crew, and Warren was really young in Rat. Jimmy DeAnda was also one of those. He got to run and hang with a lot of those kind of bands and be at all the backyard parties and stuff in Hollywood in the day. It got to be in the Bullet Boys, which, you know, they're solidified in my book as like as an 80s iconic band. You know, we'll always hear Smooth Up In Ya. So he's had a really, you know, interesting life, and there's stuff I've learned about him just kind of knowing him and playing with him that I think's cool stuff to hear about. So it's going to be a really good time, and I won't say it enough times. It's Marsha B's birthday next week. Okay, what else we got here? T-Cuz has a little more to say about it. I will need to get disability. Can't compete in the workforce with 100 million a-holes that shouldn't be in this country. Well, you're not wrong, and I don't think, you know, you're not being racist or anything, you know, saying that. In fact, you know, most immigrants that come here all feel the same way. Like if them or they're all of us came here, right? I mean, I had German grandparents that immigrated here from Germany. I had Italian grandparents. Greek. I'm kind of a mutt, you know what I mean? But I wasn't born in America. Well, what am I saying? I was born in New Jersey. My relatives were not born here. That's what I was trying to say. I do feel like I should be considered to be like an Indian, right? Doesn't that count? How come I'm not a Native American? But I think they mean your ancestry, as far as your parents and grandparents, is what determines that. Your ancestry is not American. Your ancestry had to have come here from somewhere else, right? So, anyways, most of those people, if you ask them, they had to go through a lot to get here. Like I'd hear the stories. Like I remember my German grandfather. For one, he came here not willingly the first time. He was actually in a prison camp, and after World War II, he was captured in Africa, and he was part of Rommel's tank army, which is pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy history there. And in Trinidad, Colorado, which surprisingly is the sex change capital of America right now. It's a little side note. But they had a prison camp there, and he spent 5 years in there. And it was like, it wasn't anything that, it was like Hogan's Heroes or something. It was like, honestly, they were, all those Nazis were treated, he wasn't a Nazi according to him. Like, I know we're opening a whole can of worms here. Nazis are like a different part of the German army, even though when it's talked about, they're like the Nazis, like they were all Nazis, but that was like the special officers of the German army. Like you had to like buy their Nazi outfits and be part of that whole thing. Like the soldiers, it was kind of like a different story as far as I understand it. I'm not a war revisionary guy or whatever. What do we call those people that study battles and wars and whatnot? I don't know too much about all that. I know that when, he had nothing to do with Auschwitz or whatever, that, when people think Nazis, that's the first thing they think of. He had nothing to do with that. He was in this tank army. They were like in Africa. I don't even know what they were doing there. I guess I could find that out now. It's a little easier to research that sort of thing. But at the time, like the war wasn't going good. You know what I mean? Like they were out of ammunition. When they got captured, they're like, oh, great, the Americans are here. You know what I mean? They were happy to get captured. They were starving. You know what I mean? So anyways, when I would hear my grandfather talk about the prison camp, according to him, and this is what made me think Hogan's Heroes, but like they would bring him alcohol. They were my grandfather was an officer, so that may have made a difference. But he basically said that they brought him prostitutes there and booze, and it was like super chill. He had a great time. I even saw a picture of it. It looked like I was looking at Hogan's Heroes or something. It was bizarre. So I don't know. Don't judge me. I have nothing to do with any of that. I don't support any of that ideology of that. But I was trying to just make a point of whether you're a Mexican American. Like you talk to a lot of Mexican Americans, they'll probably agree that they don't like seeing people cheat the system and come in here like that. They're not like, oh yeah, most of them will not tell you that. They will agree that they are Americans. They don't want to see our country, our state's resources get diminished by people that jumped in line or cheated or whatever. Or also we have to be concerned about, especially like last year, that huge like influx of military aged men that just kind of showed up, and they came up through Mexico, but they're not from Mexico. They came from like South America, and they're not South Americans. That was just where, so those countries are easier to get in, send infiltrators in through. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to scare everybody, but I can tell you right now that in the next 3 years, we're going to see some fireworks. There's going to be a lot of crazy fear and crazy things that are going to happen in our country. And I get a whiff of it. I don't mind talking about it because I feel like if we expose their plans, sometimes they have to cut. They go, shit, they already know what we're doing, and they have to cancel the plans. So it's okay to talk about some conspiracies, but when it's dangerous when you see that many young men coming across, like you don't see the projects doing the thing I don't like, where they text me during the show. They don't. God, now I forgot what I was freaking talking about. I was going to say something important. Shit. I hate that. Well, it's a live show, man. I'll remember in a second. Oh yeah, I was gonna say with live stuff. I mean, not live stuff. With military age people coming through like that, with everything that's about to come down the pike, this could be like an infiltration where they could be starting small wars and stuff. They could be throwing jihads and stuff. There's like parts of this country where they're trying to like usher in Sharia law, and it's not racist to be totally against that. Like, as an American, you should freaking hate that. A good American should hate that. You do not want that here. You do not want any of that BS. Sure, you want everybody should have their right to practice their religions here safely and freely. But once you start changing laws in America to reflect Sharia law, there's never going to be a place for that here. We should never sympathize for that. You'll never hear me sympathizing for it. But just as family history, whatever. I mean, don't judge me on that. I also have, grandparents on the other side of World War II that fought for America. You know what I mean? It's just history. Me personally, I never joined the military. When I turned 18 is when Operation Desert Storm hit, and the first George Bush sent people over there. And again, it was like, it was never a good reason. World War II was like the last war that might have had even a good reason to be a part of it. You know what I mean? There hasn't been a war that should have been fought since, in my opinion. I don't support any of them. It's not that I say things, I just don't speak on it. You know what I mean? It's not that I'm out doing anti-war protests or anything. I just don't play into it. I'm certainly not going to go sign up for it. I mean, that was my deal back in 1990. I looked at it, I saw the desert, I go, what are we doing? And then I just kind of pursued a music career, to be honest. I mean, I know for some young people, where you live in the country, there's nothing there for you, and the only thing there is to join the military. And there's not. I mean, that you can have your college paid for, you can learn responsibility. There's a benefit to serving. I'm not anti-military or something like that. I live here in Oceanside. We're a Marine town here. I love the Marines, but it's not for everybody. And I think I found the camaraderie of being a part of something. I found that playing in a musical group. I was like, my gun's right here. You know what I mean? And I could hurt a lot more people with this thing and reach a lot more people with that thing. And so I kind of chose that as my future. Anyways, enough about that. Let's move on here. Robbie Crane, yes, he's going to be in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today. So we got two awesome guests for the next couple weeks. This is where you're all going to be. Because if I knew Robbie Crane, I'd call him Robbie Crane Operator. I think of Karate Kid, the crane move where he had the hurt leg and does the crane. No, Robbie's like super badass. Like, he and I are similar in a lot of, like, either one of us, you never let me give you this advice: never go up and say something bad to Robbie Crane, dude. Never do that. You'll regret it. John Evans, a lot of the speed demons really aren't guitarists to me. I loved Glenn Campbell, Roy Clark, Chet Atkins, so many greats. Yeah, I agree, man. And some of the early players, Les Paul, all those guys, they played such great guitar, just so melodic. And I mean, I'm only feeling like today I could go back and maybe try to learn that stuff. Wow, it's a good sunset tonight. I should wrap it up here so I can go get a photo, man. It's a pretty one tonight. All right, what else you guys got for me? T-Cuz loves Paul Gilbert. He rules. He's a shredder jetter. His solo records are way, way better than Wingnut. Yeah, you know, he's a great human being too, Paul, and he's definitely dedicated his life to teaching other people, and he's an interesting guy. He's out there, you know. He's like, God, lately he's been dressing like he's from the Revolutionary Wars. What's he doing? Jacob's here. Hey, man. Much love sent from Chambersburg, PA. Keep rocking. Awesome. I love PA. So much history there. What? Jonathan, it looks like it's marshmallow and peach filled. Are you talking about the eyeballs? Maybe. Gail's here, everybody. All right. Give us some New Jersey. Yeah. You want Jersey accent? I can give it to you. Oh my goodness. Are you Gail? Are you from Jersey? Did you guys hear Joel cracked me up with his Chicago accent? It was freaking funny as hell. If you guys didn't see the Joel Hoekstra episode, man, that was how he does a really funny one. JK Bass is here, y'all. What's up, man? I'm a quiet guy. Never dismembered anyone. Okay, well, you know, some quiet guys are safe. But I'm just saying, I mean, it's okay to like if you're a teapot, let off some steam once in a while. I mean, that's what concerts are great for too. You know, to me, the whole idea, or one of the reasons that rock concerts or pop concerts are so great is because that's where the working man's supposed to go and yell and sing and scream and just get it out of your system. You know what I mean? So you don't go home and beat your kids or whatever, you know, or I don't know. Stody, keeping it real and raw. Yeah, I'm a Jersey Cali guy. Marsha's saying. T-Cuz, he's talking about Jersey bands. You got Monster Magnet, you got Atomic Bitch Wax, you got Solace. There's 3 Jersey killer bands right there. Yeah, and you know the whole Jersey metal thing, right? I mean, Rick Fox was telling us about that. Back in the day, like if you were in New York, Rick was telling us you had to go to Jersey to go rock and play clubs. Marsha's saying she's a small town redneck hillbilly with a little bit of city sprinkled in. Oh, is that a fact? Where's my
You're frightening me, hillbilly.
frightening me there, hillbilly? Oh, the business is tough. Yeah, it's not. I mean, I don't know. It's just changed so much from when I was a kid. Eric sad you did not get to see. Get to see Corey and the Lords of the Rings. I'll get my chance again. It's cool. David's been hooking Steven up with a lot of those convention hookups. David, he's gotten Steven like 5 or 6 conventions. So there'll probably be another opportunity for me to go to something like that. Benny's here, y'all. Did you edit the most recent clip? What's up with the 4 minutes of blurry clip basically showing nothing? Is that on the road vlog? I apologize for that. That is Monica, who's here tonight. Monica filmed from the front row. And at one point, her phone like went up and started filming the ceiling. And I think when I was editing, I must have missed that it wasn't 4 minutes, sir. You're exaggerating. It was about a minute. And when I'm editing like a 17-minute thing, I was focusing on like so much of the other stuff that I kind of missed that the camera's not there. And yes, if I had more time, I would have probably fixed that. So, you know, stuff happens. You can always kind of fast forward it if it upsets you too much. But no, that's kind of what happened. Good eye. See, he's letting me know he watched more. When I look at the statistics, it's like, yeah, on average, people watched it about 7 minutes of your show. And I go 7 minutes. So if you're only watching 7 minutes, you wouldn't even got to the part that Betty was talking about. They say no shade. Newer format looks great, by the way. Graphics are awesome. No, it's all good. I'll keep an eye on that. Oh, truth be told, Benny, I didn't take all that much footage out on this thing, and when I make one of those, I want to make sure that it's got like close to at least 20 minutes like of stuff, and I was so hard up for footage, I kind of just let it ride. I'm like, what do you got, Monica? And pretty much left in like all the live stuff she took, and I kind of got it to about 16 minutes. Tika sunglasses, rest in peace, Frank Beard, ZZ Top, cheap sunglasses. Oh yeah, man, Tika's are already out playing. Dusty Hill and Frank Beard both had told him to keep going, with the band. So Billy Gibbons is, I guess it's, especially with him being the sole survivor, I'm okay with it. Whatever I'm looking at right now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm okay with it. Like the guitar tech has the most awesome beard, and that he plays these crazy like basses. He's like, it's like 6 basses. Looks like a Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick or something. It's pretty dope. And I just saw the kid that got playing drums. He looks like a super young Frank Beard. It was like, it was cool, man. I don't know who the kid is, but he looked like a young Frank Beard from like the late 70s, and he was wearing the right thing. He had like a mariachi kind of jacket on that just had that Tex-Mex kind of vibe to their clothes. And I felt like I was looking at ZZ Top, So long live ZZ Top, long live Billy Gibbons. I think the guest is Matt. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Robbie Crane. Spoiler. No, it's next week is Jimmy DeAnda, and then Robbie Crane will be the following week. Matt will be coming on soon. I want to get the other guys as the record is closer to coming out, when we're in like full hype mode, because then I want to have them come on and talk a lot about the record. And I feel like I want you guys to have heard the record. I like when it's out and we're taking the victory lap, that's when I want Matt to come on. So that's the game plan. And like I said, the dude's busy. I'm on fire! Scholar, definitely cool. Todd Kearns, damn it. I think I met Todd, damn it, Kearns once or something. I mean, we're not friends enough yet that I, like, to be my friend, I got to have your phone number. You know what I mean? Jimmy is such a nice guy and a beast of a drummer. He is so good. I saw him play the Bonzo Bash once, and it was so epic doing the Zeppelin. It's like around the NAMM show in LA. It's usually at the Grove, and they have like a Zeppelin night for tribute to John Bonham, and they just have drummers come up. Man, Jimmy kicks ass on Zeppelin stuff. Crane was fantastic on the Guru show. Best he's ever heard. Well, Benny, that's because you haven't heard him on my show. But yes, he was a great guest, and he's going to be a great guest here. Jay Lee in the house, fresh off win number 7. That's right. Jay Lee's won the Wheel of Misfortune his 7th time last night. So Marsha and Jay Lee were the big winners. I got to get their mystery boxes out this week, and they're on their way. They're on their way. Johnny Ponder, I can tune a fish, but not a guitar. Duffy Slubergerber, I know I'm happy you survived your cardiac attack. You're an awesome dude, and life wouldn't be the same without you. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's good. I mean, anybody, once you get to be about 50, that's when you find out if you have heart disease or not, which I'm sure most of us do. Even the ancient Egyptians had heart disease. It's just kind of hereditary, and a little bit maybe with diet, but just to let you guys know, there's hope for that. You get some stents, and then it is important to exercise. I wasn't sure. I was a little uncertain, but I can tell you my quality of life has increased so much since I got rid of the cigarettes 7 years ago, and started exercising in this past year is a life-changing thing for me. I don't feel nearly as old as I am. Like, because for a while there, when I got up to 200, I was heavy breathing. I was walking up the stairs going, shit, is this what it means to be old? And now I'm like, I am in pretty good shape. I mean, it's keeping the... Okay, T-Cuz is talking, I think, about my push-ups. He's saying, keeping the muscle completely engaged. It goes for any resistance exercise, legs, arms, shoulders, and squeeze with doing it. But yeah, gotta breathe too. It takes a lot of focus. Yeah, I guess I should breathe too. But I'm right though, T-Cuz, right? It's been a game changer on the push-ups, man. I'm starting to almost get that, like when you look at those total jocko, gym guys that have the full body that you'll never have. Like I'm starting to see, like I have hope that maybe you might see a shirt come off at some point, man. I don't know. I haven't been able to go to the beach in 30 years, at least with my shirt off. Spicoli, I want to know about the song F number 9, F sharp 9, I would imagine, by Bullet Boys. It's a badass song. Yeah, I think that's a chord there. We'll ask him about it. That's good, Spicoli. I like it. You're already getting your questions ready. Frank sent me a package, y'all. Thank you, Frank. He says it'll be there Friday. Well, thank you, buddy. It was great to meet you. Where was that? Connecticut? Yeah. Maurice Coast soon. We're working on it. Okay. Kevin Smith's demanding a DL. You want butt bongos to go with it, buddy? I'll do it. There you go, Kevin.
Danger is my business.
Yeah. Gail, Eric, I'm from Anchorage, Alaska. Whoop, burp. That's super dope, Gail. I've always wanted to check out Anchorage. That's super cool. Beautiful. T-Cuz, what are you saying to me here? Yeah, Elwood Francis is the guitar tech that took over for Dusty Hill. As I said, T-Cuz, he's our resident musicologist. This dude knows everything. I mean, he's even got the name, right? Elwood. I mean, Elwood Francis. That guy was born to be in ZZ Top. Born to be there. Yeah, Jimmy did the crunch and killed it. Hell yeah. Eric has the sitch with the jabronis been good? Yeah, it was all right. I mean, the latest drama was, the Johnny Miami, right? And his little group of terrorizers, Matthew Rayleigh and them. They've been really going out doing a lot of slanderous stuff. They're on overtime this week because they're realizing he's about to be forgotten. You know what I mean? He doesn't like it. He doesn't like that we got somebody in here that's way better, and so they're just trying to like poo-poo it right now as they can. And also going after Christian Duke, the lawyer that was helpful to me during that whole thing. They've been leaving some crazy comments on his page and trying to actually like make him and me not friends over something you said, Rick. Over I don't even want to bring it all up now, but it was over a young hopeful that was for the Quiet Riot gig, and Rick. Somebody came on my channel and criticized Rick for his opinion, and I made a snarky comment just on my channel in Rick's defense, or something. And they took that and they ran to the lawyer. We're trying to like, look what he said about your guy. And it's so funny, you know what I mean? And even he made a video, which I'm not a big fan of the title of the video that Christian made, but he's like, why does everybody hate Erik Ferentinos? But he was doing that because he was purposely trying to like kind of flush out who these haters were. There's like it's about 5 of them that are just going around, and I think one's Johnny, one's Matthew, and there's a couple because I could tell by the things that they say. One of them will keep saying I'm a poser, which I am a poser. I have to do all the rock poses every concert with Stephen Pearcy. But what kind of poser gets to play for a multi-platinum guy for 25 years and write his albums and record them, dude? That ain't a poser. That's the real deal. And I laugh at that kind of stuff, but I'm just dealing with that. They're just saying, trying to take over the narrative and make up some lies and stuff. That I did get hit with that this week, and I'll make a notation of it. But those guys are all, it's all just crashing down for them. Johnny Miami's celebrating over a year of nobody calling him for a gig, dude. He's not even the guy that he tried to portray or JG tried to put out. There's way better people, and as I said, it sucks that we could have had Joel for a couple years, and they did everything they could to keep him out of the picture. But we got him now, and we got Logan Stoliker too. Logan's like a young Warren, so even when the TSO guys go out or whatever, we'll either have Jimmy DeAnda or like Will Hunt or somebody massive on drums, and we'll always have a good other guitar player there. So you're never going to get let down at a Pearcy show. I'm so excited for this for next year. Frank's saying, rest in peace, Dolly. Yes. I'm still processing the Dolly Parton thing. It's super sad. I'm going to probably watch some of my old favorite Dolly Parton movies. I want to watch 9 to 5, and I want to watch Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Spicoli wants to know, did Jimmy play on the new album? Yes, he did. He played on one of Steven's songs called Scream Machine. There's a song called Scream Machine, and he plays on that, and it's super dope. But anywho, all right, I think I covered it all, guys. This was super fun. Thanks for all your support this week. Thanks for being at that Fright Bite. Thanks for sharing the road vlog and giving all my shows a thumbs up. If you got some hype points left, give them. Remember, next Wednesday, we got Marsha B's birthday party here. And Jimmy Anaconda is going to jump out of a cake. No, I'm just kidding. Jimmy DeAnda. And then the following Wednesday will be Robbie Crane. So you guys, this is the place to be. Nowhere else. Remember that. And if they're a cool person, this is what I'm going to tell you. Be cool and be kind to each other. If it's somebody that doesn't deserve it, that's a different story. But you know, I like to say be cool and be kind to each other, because that is really what I want for everybody. All right. Peace, y'all. I'll see you at the next Fright Bite.